Hey fellas, Neon from the future here. This is part 2 of our 2-part Winter 2022 seasonal anime podcast. So if you haven't seen part 1, click the card in the top right hand corner to check it out. Now, please enjoy the show and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Woo!
Oh, I had a good intro planned up.
Now what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we'll be talking about the sleeper hits of the season, and by sleeper hit I mean they hit you with boredom so hard you'll be falling asleep.
All right, we'll keep that line in then.
That's pretty good.
All right, well, it's time to get a little gay. That's the only intro I had prepared for Sasaki Miyano.
What a brilliant intro.
Oh man, I watched 5 minutes of it. Went, yep, that's yaoi, and stopped.
I mean, it looks really good for Fujo bait, if I have to say. Like, I don't know. It does a decent job at what it is.
I'm looking at my notes.
It looks the same. It looks the same as like any other of that type of show, that type of anime.
Yeah, which is why it did its job well.
I'm looking at my notes, but I genuinely... I didn't even put Sasaki and Miyano on my notes. I know I watched it, but I just have nothing written about it.
Damn, you mean to tell me you had more notes about fucking Q than you did about Sasaki and Miyano?
To be fair, I had 5 words on Q, so it's not doing that much better.
I have more notes on it than I did Q, but that's only because I felt a little more obligated to take a few more notes on it because it's one of the... Well, at the time that I made the block list of anime, as you guys know, I made it a month or so in advance, and I'm only going off of initial hype going into seasonals, and obviously that changes and rankings change as the shows actually premiere. So this one has kind of fallen off from initial hype. This used to be near the top. Now it's I don't think it's even in the top 10 anymore.
I will check for you. Also, should you not make the block right as it's starting, or?
I wanted to make it ahead of time, if only for planning's sake, so that way we're not a show doesn't come out at the very last second and I have to scramble to put it in. That's why Shenmue got the axe, because it only got its release date announced sometime between January 23rd and the 30th. And by that point we had already started recording for the first block for the first half of the season.
Anyways, I checked and it's Sasaki and Miyano is 13th place, but keep in mind a good chunk of the top 10 are sequels.
Yeah. But even taking that into account, at least 4 of the top 10 are there's My Dress Up Darling, and then the other ones are, I think it's Genius Prince. Frank, what are the other ones?
Okay, so Dress Up Darling, Genius Prince, Rusty or Bisco, Strongest Stage with Weakest Crest, Love of Kill.
Those are the top 10? I thought Love of Kill was 11th.
Hang on, let me count. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, the 10th one is Ordinary Guy.
Oh wow!
If we remove the sequels from the equation,
I wasn't talking about removing the sequels. I was talking about in general.
Oh no! 10th.
Oh no!
Place.
Okay, if we keep the sequels in place, then Takagi-san season 3 is 10th place. And then, Sasaki Miyano is still in 13th.
That's what I said originally.
Okay.
Hey, but at least it shows that the anime community has a sizable portion of a female audience. Or I guess some dudes that are into that as well. Well, that audience at least.
Maybe they're just not that many Fujos, even though there's quite the number of Fujo shows this season. And this block in particular.
The last Fujo show I think I remember seeing took off was what was it, Banana Fish or something like that?
No, it was Given.
It
was Given. Given got
Given
popular. And I actually think it's pretty good.
It was a music one called Given.
I've never heard about that one.
I think that was around the time where you stopped watching seasonal anime.
Probably.
I remember hearing about Given, but I have not seen it.
I did not watch it because I'm just not into Fujo that much, and I did hear good things about Given, especially among other Fujo shows. Like it's one of the good ones, but I think I hate the aesthetic of the show. Like it's the literal second it started, I thought immediately I wrote this down in my notes. It's too bright and too foggy, and there's not enough contrast.
But like, isn't this the kind of thing Fujos love though? Like, it's like that kind of aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Do they? Because I remember
That
like
is-
Banana Fish didn't look like that.
I mean, because Mappa, but that is the typical Fujo aesthetic.
So, what are Fujo shows that have those bright, foggy aesthetics with the lack of contrast? Because I'm
I'd say
struggling to think of
Dokusei.
some.
I wasn't like talking about. I wasn't
I-
talking about like that specific, like the lighting and all, but like just like when it comes to like the eyes and all that stuff, like the way the characters are drawn.
Oh yeah,
That's
well
what I was
that
talking about.
yeah that I think is normal. I was talking about like the aesthetic of the show itself.
I mean, to me, the aesthetic was, how they're drawn.
Yeah, well, I was just talking about like the visual effects. Like even though it's not Fujo, the visuals kind of reminded me of Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season, even though well, I'm not the biggest fan of that show's aesthetic either. Well, it has a similar, it's too bright, it looks like I'm viewing it through a cloud and there's not enough contrast. At least the character designs are like as it's difficult for me to describe, but like there's a sense of these characters belong in this setting that that the show is created, whereas the characters in Sasaki and Miyano feel like they're taken from a different aesthetic, but like forced into this one that the show has created. I think this show's by Studio
Yes.
Dean, right?
I think it's a teen show. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I don't really have too much of a problem with the way it looks. I mean, I didn't even really like notice anything too bad about the visuals like you did, NeonManta, because I was just like, all right, it doesn't look like complete ass, so it's already better looking than 90% of the shows this season. I'm just gonna not complain about the visuals and continue watching this.
For me, at least, like the visuals look like a mix of
To-
Horimiya
I'll-
and Fruits Basket, but like without the polish of either shows.
I am the person who. It's kind of weird we're talking about anime, but usually the animation quality doesn't bother me too much unless it's just like a straight downgrade from like what came before, like with One Punch
I get
Man.
that.
But
I mean, the last
But,
block had a
you know,
lot of atrocious
like,
shows
even-
in terms of design and visuals.
yeah, but like if it's like the first of its like series or whatever, and the animation's like, it's like all right, whatever. I've seen worse. It's only when it's like actually unwatchable or something, but that's an issue. But
So Sasaki and Miyano is about our titular pair. We meet Sasaki is the twink, right? Or is he the? I got their names confused. Is he the twink or is he like the more delinquent?
I cannot tell you that. I'm gonna go into Annie list.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, Miyano is. I just looked over my notes again. I had it written down once. Miyano is the twink, and then Sasaki is the delinquent. So yeah, the twink is asked to hold his shit by Sasaki, and he's instantly fallen in love with just how incredibly rugged and badass he is. Whereas we find out later in the show that Sasaki has also fallen for the boyish, twinkish charms of this incredibly gay man.
I will say that Sasaki and Miyano felt at times like almost like a sort of meta BL show, which doesn't make any sense. But like the carrot, hold on, what's the twink again? Miyano.
I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. This
Hold
just
on.
sounds like an actual like a textbook BL.
I mean,
story.
it is a textbook BL story, but like the main character Miyano, like talks about BL stories and is like very into them. I guess it's not so much meta as it is the author is clearly just a huge fan of BL and decided, hey, let's make my own BL story, and this is the result. As for all the complaints of like, oh, it's basic or whatever, I'm gonna be real with you, I have not seen very much. Actually, I have seen 0 BL aside from this. And I mean, I guess that one show about the tri-cornered window, but this is basically...
It's funny that you mentioned that.
This is basically my introduction to the genre, yeah, so I can't really speak as to like how closely it follows tropes or if it's like really basic in that regard.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that tri-corded window show from the last season. I've never been into yaoi because my big problem with yaoi is that it's treated in anime very differently than yuri, which I am a massive fan of. Yuri is almost always like kind of sweet and cute. There's more like an innocent vibe to Yuri, even like the more it's strange too, because like while there can be a weird undercurrent to Yuri when it's shit like Citrus, where it's even less about Yuri and more of like weird incest on top of it. Yaoi is always weirdly immediately physical and low-key kind of rapey. Like this show is definitely more of the former and not the latter at all. This isn't a rapey kind of yaoi, but like that fucking ghost-busting tri-cornered window show from last season, that was like the rapey kind of yaoi.
That was like, okay, so we're just gonna do some ghost busting. Oh, oops, touched your penis.
Yeah, like I don't get why he had to grope the dude and like make him come or some weird shit to bust the ghosts. But I guess some people are just like some Fujo whales are just kind of into that, and I don't get it.
God, I so wish we could have talked about Night Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window.
It's okay. This is the only acknowledgement anyone has ever given it since it finished airing.
I forgot it even existed until like a minute ago when I remembered it did.
I know you guys were supposed to be on the podcast that never came out last season. Did you guys ever watch Tri-Cornered Window?
I think that was one of the ones I didn't watch.
I probably did, but I forgot about it. Even with the shows this season, I'm gonna have to come up with something because I have to look at the picture. Oh, I think I remember this and that happening.
It was very bad and very weirdly rapey.
That's interesting.
As far as the homoeroticism in Sasaki Miyano, the furthest it goes is with the twink who sees the homoeroticism in everything, which I want to call annoying, but I do that with most media that has 2 or more girls together, so, fucking glass houses and whatnot.
In terms of this show's overall quality, I'll probably watch another episode. It's it seems very 6 out of 10. But it also has very high, on AniList, it has a 76 average score, which is a lot higher than most things this season.
It's probably the Fujos, man.
Has 7.87.
Even though they're not starved for content this season.
Well, hey, I'm not sure. I know you're only looking at the scores for a reference, but there are so many things that have a higher score that they shouldn't. Like Demon Slayer. I don't think that's an 8.80, guys.
Okay, true, but
oh no,
I mean, scores.
Frank, you can't be saying that.
Scores can be
you're gonna attract the Demon Slayer haters.
Quality. So 76, that at least to me says okay, this is above average. So maybe it's worth taking a second glance at instead of just the half one I give most shows.
I thought.
Wait, hang on. You said 76?
On AniList.
It says here 7.87.
Well, you're looking at Mal.
He's looking at AniList, not Mal.
Yeah, AniList generally has
he's looking at the inferior.
I'm looking at
numbers.
the far superior website. What are you talking about?
I mean,
you're dead ass the only person I know.
The thing with the AniList is it only marks up to 2 decimal points, whereas Mal uses 3. unless I have to like go into the anime itself, and that's inconvenient.
3 decimal points as in like it uses the whole number and then 2 decimal places.
Yeah, that's how Mal does it.
Cause okay, because I was gonna say 3 decimal points would be like would take it to the thousandths.
You know, 3 significant numbers. I think. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I just went on AnyList just to see what it looked like. This is the letterbox backlogged UI, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
It looks like it.
I don't know. I've only ever looked at AnyList through the lens of Crunchy's profile.
It looks like it. I wouldn't know for sure unless I make an account, but it does seem to have like it formatted the same way.
I have not used whatever site you referred to, so I wouldn't know.
It's basically like the same.
Oh yeah, Letterbox.
It's pretty much like formatted the same. No lie, I might switch to it because I much prefer this type of formatting over Mal's formatting.
Oh, I really like Mal's formatting.
AnyList has a dark mode though.
You cringe. Mal has a dark mode.
Wait, Mal does?
Yeah, Mal has a dark mode.
It does?
Since everything has a fucking night mode these days.
I tried to look for the night mode on my anime list. And could not find it.
Well, here's like here's the thing with Mal dark mode. It only works if you go on like your lists.
Does it? I could have sworn you could also change it on the page itself.
I think you gotta pay for that.
Fuck that.
No, you have to pay to get. No, I think you have to pay to get like your own custom color scheme uploaded.
Let me see.
You want to know what site lets you add an infinite amount of favorites without having to pay?
Okay, yeah, that is a thing AnyList will have over it.
All right, we have gotten very distracted.
I do not like the Mal. I know.
I was
really
gonna say,
do not.
While Frank was looking all this stuff up, I was just gonna note that I thought that the episode was confusingly structured. It has like 4 fucking flashbacks in the same episode, and at one point, I genuinely lost track of the present. I think it was around the time where he was giving the dude the bandage from the fight that he got into, and I couldn't tell if that was like the fight that he got into at the beginning of the episode, or because he's a delinquent, he happened to get into another fight late, like sometime in the present.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about confusing structure on one of the shows around here.
Oh god. I personally didn't have that problem with Sasaki and Miyano. Yeah, it's just kind of a 6 out of 10 to me. I don't really know what to say other than like, I guess the characters are like fine. They're not particularly endearing, but like I can see them becoming good. You know, they're not irredeemably boring so far.
I was very thankful that Sasaki had a fang and not a horrible goddamn mutant flesh fang. Because if he had that, I would just instantly turn myself off of the show. Stop putting flesh fangs on anime characters, Japan. It's it's ugly. It's never good. It never looks cute.
Well,
it
actually,
looks ugly.
What character has the flesh fang thing? I don't remember. Oh yeah, Uzaki.
Uzaki.
Yeah, Uzaki has the flesh fang. It's fucking hideous.
Well, to be fair, I do not like the flesh fang either.
Overall, like I think.
I was gonna say to be fair, Uzaki already had a hideous character design.
Oh well, that's also true.
Well, I just think like Sasaki Miyano's like, it's not my kind of show, but I can see someone giving it like around like the 4 to 7 like scale, you know? Like it's just probably one of those average to above average shows that's not for me. That's how I see it at least.
If I were into yaoi, I think I would like it more. And that's not to say that I just toss out yaoi outright. I haven't seen most yaois, most of the yaoi anime rather, that fans say are good. Like the top one I hear, Dokusei, I know that you mentioned a few times, Micah. I have not seen it yet, but I've heard it's like the best
it's
one.
Up there.
And the other one is free, even though that one's just just bait.
Yeah.
It's not actually gay. Which I did watch the first episode of Sarune, and I think I was just bored because I think it's just kind of like Fate, but with not Fate Free, but with archery. I don't know if any of y'all saw Sarune by KyoAni.
Wait, a KyoAni show I haven't even heard of? How?
It came out in like 2018, I think. It's literally free, but with archery. I think it's one of their less popular shows.
Mm-mm.
But if I were to watch a yaoi show though, even though it's probably like more bait, because like this show isn't bait, this is just straight up yaoi. And if that's your bag, then maybe you'll like it. It's probably mostly because of the naming conventions. But the whole time when I was watching this show, I was just thinking, man, I haven't finished Horimiya yet. I kind of just want to stop watching this and go back and finish Horimiya now.
I mean, I'd rather watch Horimiya as well, and I don't really like it that much.
It's just a better romance.
I mean, who's to say? Maybe it's because we're not the audience, you know?
To be fair, it's hard to say. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, just because we're not in the audience, like fuck it.
No, like I get what you mean, but there are some shows where you truly have to be in the audience.
Yeah. I'm not. That's still. I don't want to use that as like a blanket term excuse to
I know.
cover the show's ass, because like you can make a show about like a subject matter or even like a genre I'm not normally interested in and still make it so good that'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? I don't even usually like this and I like this. It's what
Nintendo fans when they play Persona 5.
I was literally about to mention Persona 5 back when it came out in 2017. I was like, bro, even if you don't like JRPGs, you'll probably like Persona 5. All right, well, I think we've said. Anyone else got any things left to say about Sasaki Miyano?
Not really.
Nope.
All right, well, it's time to go on to the complete other degenerate end of the spectrum with World's End Harem, which dares to ask the question, what if COVID was incredibly lethal to only the penis havers?
Well, I actually read the manga for this like a long while ago. Like, I'm pretty sure back when it only had like 5 chapters in, I already started reading it. And I'm up to date with it in the manga.
I'm curious to get the perspective of a manga reader. How does the anime compare visually?
It's garbage! They don't, like... I hate the art style so much. Like, the girls aren't even as sexy anymore. I mean, not that it matters, because you barely get to see any action.
I did find it weird of like how much the show is restricting itself with the sexual content, given what it's about. Like, you'd think it'd be nonstop.
I get that's like the main character's goal, but
no, but even in the manga, it's like that. It's like it just teases you, but it never gives you it.
Well. I don't know about you guys, but when I watched it on GoGo Anime, it ended up being the uncensored version. So.
Well, that's the true American way to watch this show. We don't accept fucking censored shit. Well, also because usually when they censor these kind of shows, they make it way harder to watch.
Yeah.
I think Crunchy and I talked about this in the summer podcast, but do you remember what they did to fucking Redo of Healer when they censored it?
Didn't they like double censored it?
They did, yeah.
I did not watch Redo of Healer.
I didn't watch it either. I expected Twitter fallout, but it didn't really happen.
It happened, but not nearly to the scale I thought it would.
I was expecting a Goblin Slayer tier fallout, but not.
No, I don't think people cared. I think they knew that was trashy going in, whereas Goblin Slayer had more of a straight fantasy vibe going in. Like, people weren't expecting the rape, whereas Redo of Healer was famous because it had rape in it. But as far as the Redo of Healer censorship goes, the long and short of it is, the uncensored version has, all the bits. It's basically hentai, whereas the censored version, it just has like a shot for like the entire what would have been the sex scene of like a fireplace, and like as the camera slowly tilts down from like the top of it to the bottom, like for us, like over a minute. There's no dialogue. It's just like I think the music is like quieter. It hasn't stopped. It's just you hear the fireplace and you hear the music, and like
I thought it would just be like they would just put like a logo in front of it or something. But like,
nope,
because that's what they usually do.
That's what they usually do, but not for that one. It was too bad. And it's like literally, I would sooner recommend, even though it's not a good show, I would 100 times recommend the uncensored version of it before the censored, because it's just a better viewing experience. It doesn't waste your time as much as the uncensored version would. Although both would likely waste your time. One is less insulting to your time. Anyways, back to World's End Harem. It's not that sexy, and it's supposed to be a sexy show. What gives?
Like, it's like that in the manga as well. There's barely any sex scenes, which is kind of a crying shame for a Kumar show.
Oh yeah, this isn't it's not in like traditional Shonen Jump, this is in like, isn't this on Young Jump? But not
Weekly Young Jump. I'm pretty sure it's like Jump Square, I think the name it was. It's like a monthly.
Yeah, it's like it's the one most reserved for more adult adult themed. Or like at least mature, like shit, like with nudity and shit.
It's basically like monthly Young Jump, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. I refuse to do research on this, so you have fun googling it yourselves, viewers.
Yeah, well, World's End Harem is about this dude who has a horrible disease that only an experimental cryosleep can possibly cure. And even though it's a success, he wakes up 5 years into the future, where during that time, a virus known as the MK Ultra virus, I just made that up, has killed 99.9% of all men on Earth, thus confirming the black pill theory that men are truly the most oppressed group on the face of the Earth. Your silence speaks volumes.
I mean, yes, that is the premise of the show.
I'll be honest, I did not watch this. For some reason, it wasn't in the list I was using, which I had on a private server. But that premise sounds ridiculous.
That was probably because you didn't catch like the edit that Neon made.
I think I put it on the same time that I added Platinum End and
he might have just not copied it down.
Oh yeah, I didn't check the list again. I just added Platinum End and Osama ranking to my personal list.
Well, you didn't miss much.
The only reason that we're covering it this season as opposed to last season is because for some reason, I guess it was production issues, only the first 2 episodes came out last season, and the rest of it had to get delayed into this season. So this is technically now a winter 2022 show.
So that's what happened.
Yeah. And that which is weird, because you'd think of like the kinds of show. It's weird in anime, like the kinds of shows that get delayed aren't the ones you'd think. Like you'd think a fucking a KyoAni show, even like disregarding the events of the horrible arson attack, you would think like a quality show like that, or like Mob Psycho 100, or fucking, I don't know, even fucking like Shield Hero, even though it's not that good, like a show that like is made by a quality studio would get a delay, as before shows like this, fucking Ari Fuerza infamously.
I mean, to be fair,
Ari Fuerza is still funny.
If a show sort of like looks quality, it's probably because it has a well-managed quality production. So that's probably sort of the reason for that discrepancy. A show that looks like shit probably was run like shit into the ground.
Which is why they need to fucking pull their heads out of their asses, stop making 30 new shows every single season, and make like fucking 10 to 15 shows every season, and take all the resources from all the bad shows that aren't going to be made anymore, put them into the good shows, and then we'll have we'll have better animated shows and a higher quantity of them every single season.
We can dream, NeonManta. We can dream.
Well, in the world of that World's End Harem, women have been deprived of sex for so long that they're just incredibly desperate to
Yeah,
be
see,
fucked.
that's what's amazing about it. It reminds me of something like Parallel Paradise, which is a manga I read. It's like basically an isekai where women are horny for men. But this one's like, it doesn't do anything with it. There's no sex scenes to it. Like, bro, if you're a Coomer show, do some coom.
Honestly, all I could think of while I was watching it was like, hey, this is just like a repeat of like Girls Bravo or something like that.
That Girls Bravo and High School DxD are like the two like Coomer I'm trying to what's the word? Gateway? Yeah, the gateway.
No,
Coomer
but at least
shows.
like DxD, like the main character, what's his name again? Doesn't matter. Issei, yeah, like at least he like
Issei?
ropes the girls occasionally. Like we barely get shit here.
Well, yeah, well, because this is the class of porn show where the main character is not a pervert. He is trying to maintain his good boy purity and chastity for his
God, I hate
childhood
that
friend
so much.
who wanted to be a doctor, and he cuts a deal with the purple haired girl who looks identical to her, who becomes his like caretaker in the post apocalypse that the man killer virus has left the world in. When he wakes up, he's like, all right, I'll cut you a deal. Because I know you need me to fuck all of these women because I'm immune to the virus for some reason to help repopulate the planet for humanity's survival. I think that my childhood friend is still alive based on this evidence with like the bracelet or some shit. If we like give me like, I forget what the time frame was. I think did he say like a year or two?
It was like
wasn't
a
that
month.
long, was it? Okay, a month. Like, give me a month and we try to find, like, give me all of your resources for a month. If we can find her, then I will, like, propagate the earth with her. And if we don't, I'll propagate the earth with all these other women. At least,
Honestly,
like, at least it adds, like,
either way, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I mean-
dude. Like,
There's not enough.
current
Like,
chapter, none
like,
of that shit.
like listen, I know I'm being like a nerd right now, but like scientifically speaking, like even if that situation happened, like humanity's doomed. It's just doomed to a slow death.
I mean, the way their end game is that because I think in the second episode, the assistant lady says that there's still about like 5 to 10 million men in cryosleep, but they
I
can't
thought they
be.
said there was only 5.
Okay, they did say that, but they said there were only 5 that they woke up that they knew for a fact were immune to the virus. Like they had somehow developed an immunity, whereas the other 5 to 10 million.
I only watched the first episode. I just assumed only 5 men remained.
Yeah, they specified that those 5 men are immune, but like the other 5 to 10 million men in cryosleep, they are not immune. So if they were to pull them out, they would risk infection and then die immediately. So basically, if they pull them out, they're doomed to death. So his goal is to be like, so he says that he's also going to find a cure for the man killer virus, and then they can pull those 5 to 10 million men out. They can propagate with the other remaining surviving women, and then that can repopulate the earth. Because if they only fuck with those 5 dudes, you're gonna start crossbreeding with incest babies real fucking soon.
It's gonna humanity will have the cheetah experience. Yeah, that's a fun fact. Cheetahs, they had to incest to survive at some point.
Damn.
But yeah, I only watched the first episode. I do want to say that it is rather unfortunate timing that this show had to come out in the current year.
I mean, it was definitely written before the pandemic, but
No, I know that. It's just it's rather unfortunate.
I was waiting this entire time for someone to make a coronavirus statement.
Yo, whoa!
Finally
I
You
made
can't
the
say that.
COVID joke when we introduced the show. I said this is COVID, but only to the penis havers.
Oh yeah, that was yours.
Okay, I must have missed that.
Sam. Yeah, my big issue with it is like Coomer shows are rarely like intellectual.
shows don't give.
Why would
Coomer
shows
shows don't give you
be
what
intellectual?
you want, is basically what we're saying.
I think you're not getting what you want.
Okay, Micah, did you watch Interspecies
Yeah, I did.
Reviewers? Okay, like at least I'm not expecting fucking Shakespeare or
You basically want something to
Berserk
do with
when
the
I read,
Kumerisms,
or
right?
watch
Like how
a Kumar show.
Ishokuzoku reviewers did it.
Yeah, like I'm not expecting a deep story that rivals like the greats, but I appreciate when there's like more to it than just the Kumar substance. Whereas like interspecies reviewers actually had like interesting and intelligent takes on like the nature of criticism and naturally tied it in to its Kumarisms, and the show like just straight up had really good
I mean,
world
you're not
building
wrong.
and also
But
tied
for me,
into the
like,
Kumarisms. Whereas
Kumerisms just have to Kumar shows only have to do one thing, and that's make you coom. If it can't do that, it's a shit Kumar show.
I mean, at that point, you just go on like hentai.
You just go on Pornhub. Well, it's like even then, like I would argue that fucking interspecies of viewers is better hentai than other hentai.
Just like Kumar shows are the kind of thing where like, of course you can just go watch porn, but like it's the same thing as like watching a movie and like getting off to like the horny bits rather than just actually watching porn. It's that kind of appeal, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
well, and also the benefit of like the Kumar show that they bank on is that with porn you would like use it and dispose of. Like those characters that exist in the hentai only exist in that hentai, and maybe like if it's based on like a doujin book or a game, they only exist in like that self-contained media, and they probably don't have anything beyond that. Whereas an anime will have like maybe multiple seasons. Like DxC has fucking 4 seasons. It's got video games. It's got manga, light novel. Like Rias Grammary is like exists in more than just
like you can see Arias getting like tentacled like at least
like,
3 different times in the show, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right. But like yeah, they're banking on like you falling in love with the character and like maintaining that attachment, and then also like having the narrative and stuff on the side.
You're not getting out of World's End Harem. Just if you're into Kumar shows, just skip this one. It's not even good as a Kumar show.
Yeah, I mean, in the second episode, there's the nurse girl is, I think I can't remember if it's like just a hand job. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just a hand job. Is like jerking off the dude in the shower, and it's a little hot, but naturally because it's a TV anime, they can't show anything beyond the chest, so it's just kind of weak sauce. You're better off just watching. Just watch Interspecies Reviewers again, or if you haven't, go do yourself a favor and watch it because it's actually good, even beyond the cooming.
Yeah, like just watch better ecchi and coomers.
Any of y'all got anything else to say about World's End Harem?
Nope.
No,
Unfathomable.
not really.
1 out of 10. Well, actually, just 2. Just 2.
I wouldn't say unfathomable. Some of the girls are hot, but what is unfathomable and also unwatchable is fucking she professed herself pupil of the wise man.
This is one of the episodes that I did not even finish. I got halfway through episode 1 and was like, yep, this is nothing. Well, actually, no. I remember the exact moment I dropped the episode, which was when the one old guy went to like this battle, and there were like a bunch of CG, I think, goblins, something like that. But like a bunch of CG monsters.
No, listen. I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna post it in the server. And Isaac, I want you to like put it in the when you edit it, because I know exactly what Evan is talking about. I had to take a screenshot of it because it looked so awful.
It was horrendous looking, and at that exact moment I was like, this looks like ass, and my policy with things that look like ass, they get the boot.
Listen, I understand sometimes where you gotta put in CG in an anime if like the production values ain't there and you gotta take like a shortcut. If I see like a CG car, I'm not gonna tear my hair out and go, no, anime's fucking ruined, dude.
There
like,
it is. There it is.
As long as it's
there it is.
fine,
It's the CG.
It is loading.
Like, yeah,
Oh,
literally
yeah.
30 seconds in, dude. Like, CG goblins show up 30 seconds in. You couldn't
Well, hold
hand
on.
animate that shit.
I mean, I do remember that like near the beginning, but I'm talking about like later on because like if it flashes for
No,
just
yeah,
a
I
know.
second.
Yeah, I know the war scene that you're talking about, and that also killed the show for me. That's the moment I was put it on like fucking triple speed.
For the record, like Ari Furta does this too, but like Ari Furta thinks it's like the coolest thing ever. So like, I watched that show because it's so bad, but there's no it's so bad it's good quality, or it's just so bad that it's funny to watch. Like this show is just bad.
Yeah, this game's about a VR MMORPG that has fucking player lore that rivals World of Warcraft because apparently, if you play long enough in it, you can build your own kingdoms, and players just like some certain players asserted themselves as kings by building their own fucking kingdoms and going to war with each other. They're like fucking in-game wars. They had to like appoint 9 players as like the 9 wise men who serve the king. And apparently they're so fucking overpowered that the game balance is fucked to hell because they just solo every non-wise man player.
You know, I actually like kind of dug the premise of the show. Well, at least what little of the premise I was able to glean. And that's the only reason that I got even like halfway through the first episode, because I do like the idea of like when you're playing an MMO and like you're basically using it as like a way to escape reality, and that you've built like this whole other society in this MMO RPG, and you're like role playing with, you know, your friends. I like that aspect of it. But then it's like, well, wouldn't I
And
just
there's a
watch
show
like
that-
Log
there's a
Horizon.
show? Yeah, exactly.
Like Log Horizon.
I wasn't even gonna mention Log Horizon mainly because I haven't watched it. I was thinking more of Reincarnated Slime, even if that's not like the VR MMO premise.
I've actually been
Just because that's what the main
For
character
good-
does. He builds a little town.
I mean, he gets fucking video game powers as he progresses, so it might as well be
Right.
a VR.
I mean, like, when it comes to,
I've
like,
actually
VR
been
MMO,
watching Slime lately.
like, I kind of think, like, I usually want to, like, I wouldn't mind something like this where it's like that, but I feel like a more Netoge aspect would be nice, you know, where you get to peer into the people's real lives as well.
I mean, my favorite example of like these kinds of games and like these kinds of shows is
Yeah,
Recovery of an
MMO Junkie, that's
I
another
was
one,
gonna
like-
mention that one.
Yeah, because, like,
I
the
fucking
slice of
love
life
that
aspect
show.
of these VR MMO animes is, like, really important if you ask me, like, which is why, like, I didn't really like Volfuri as much.
Like, alright, I'm not even
Well-
that big of a fan of Netju no Susume, right? It's like just okay, but it's still like very, very watchable.
I know you did not just call it the Japanese name when we just called it the English name like a few seconds
I'm
Someone's
ago.
gonna
still gonna
flex their
call it
Jap.
the Japanese name. It's easier to say Netju no
yeah,
Susume.
fucking weeb.
It's easier to say. I don't even know the English name of Netju no Susume.
MMO
by
Junkie.
heart.
We just
I know you
I
just
said
said it. Recovery
You
of
could
a
just
MMO
call it
Junkie.
MMO Junkie.
Okay, fair, but still.
MMO Junkie is easier to say than Netju.
We
no
get it, you want to
Susume.
flex your Japanese.
And also won't get you shoved in a locker. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that you only watched the first half of the show before you dropped it, Crunchy, because the second half of the show is where I've never been happier that I put a show on fucking double speed before. The second half, I shit you not, is a fucking silent cartoon, and not in the sense of there's visual gags in place of dialogue. There is zero dialogue. It's they don't make any visual gags. It's all music. It's all just a montage of this the pupil of the wise man girl character just walking around a meadow and the castle town and like the other shots of other various wise men doing their shit, and there's zero dialogue, and that goes on for fucking 11 minutes.
Lord. Like, I feel like
And,
that.
like-
it was like a Pink Floyd song, except not even like an artistic choice.
I feel like that sort of scene maybe could have worked if it had like higher production values and it was like really pretty, you know. And then it's like, okay, well, at least I can just appreciate this.
Also,
on the
if it
level
wasn't
of
like
looking at art, but with a show that looks this awful, it's like, why? What's even the point of that?
Dude, if you're gonna try to get away with that shit, like, I'm imagining another show trying to do what this show
Like-
did, but like with better visuals, like you said. Like, I'm imagining something with like the visuals of Violet Evergarden. But even then, like, you better be telling like a really, if you're gonna have no dialogue for 11 minutes and you're just gonna have characters walking around a town or some shit, like the least you could do is like tell a non-verbal story with it. Like, I know I'm probably the only person who will be able to parse this from the group, but one of my favorite episodes of BoJack Horseman, the Netflix show, is called Fish Out of Water, where because the character it takes place in an underwater city where people wear helmets to be able to breathe while they're underwater. They can't talk, and there's no dialogue in the episode, but it still manages to tell a visual story without words, and like it's a narrative that you can easily follow along with.
For me, an example for me would be like the second episode of The Mandalorian, because that's like 3/4 of that episode is pretty much just no words.
Like this
And it works well.
this is just a montage.
Yeah,
for
this
11 minutes.
Mhm.
What I was thinking of,
Like I was just hitting the skip 5 seconds or like skip 10 seconds button or whatever, like every second, because
Yeah,
I was waiting. I was
gonna
for it to
say,
end.
Frank, were you like mashing the button like and like occasionally stopping every few seconds to be like, all right, are they talking yet? No.
Yeah,
Are
pretty
they
much.
still not talking?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that
And
was.
then-
I
and
was
then-
watching
and
this
then
shit on
finally-
double speed, and I was
And then
skipping, and I was
finally,
still.
at the end, some words.
Yeah, the
are
very
muttered.
end of the episode, right before the credits roll, the girl says like one line of dialogue. And I was laughing my ass off because I was like, imagine watching this at normal speed. Like, what
Imagine
a fucking
watching-
waste of time.
Imagine being a Japanese person watching this on TV.
oh god, like when I think,
Thankfully, this show has been blown into fucking oblivion by Mal. It's got a 5.63, which is not the
Oh,
worst score
joy.
a show has this season, but like, if you get, like we said before, if you get below a 6 on Mal, you
I mean,
fucked
there's
up.
a lot of shows this season that's below like a 6.5. Like
Oh, yeah,
Doll's
there are-
Frontline didn't
everyone
make
seems
it.
to hate this season.
It's a shit season.
It is.
It's the sequel
After
shows.
4 banger seasons in a row in 2021, like this is just horrible. But yeah,
It is not that good. I think Pupil of the Wise Man is one of the worst shows of the season. I
Mhm.
couldn't tell you if it's the worst, but it's definitely in the top 3.
I'll be honest, I have no idea what the worst this season would be. It's the competition is too stiff for me to ever. There's too many ones for me to be like, okay, so this is obviously the worst one.
I mean,
They're just all kind of.
Oh damn! Then you're not gonna be
really-
prepared for the end of the podcast where I ask each one of you what your top 3 favorite and least favorite.
I mean,
shows
for me, it's
are.
like there's a lot of
I'm-
shows that I just didn't make it to the end. This being one of them.
Same.
I made it to the end of every episode this season. I just had to put shit on double speed sometimes, and when I do that, that's already like an omen that the show is going to be
Yeah.
dropped.
For me, like the second I put a show on double speed, that's like the moment when I know I'm gonna drop it, or I'm just there. To
Yeah.
So
finish
why
it
don't
for
you
the
just
sake
drop it?
of
Why don't
finishing.
you just drop it? Why don't you just
Yeah,
drop
that's
it
what I
right then
do.
and there?
Well,
Because-
for the sake
yeah,
of content for the podcast.
That's the
True.
only reason I do it. The only time I've like
Like,
actually
if-
watched a show.
Well, also, if it weren't for the podcast, I wouldn't be watching most of these shows.
yeah.
True.
The only time I've ever like put a show on like a higher speed with the intention of finishing it was Serial Experiments Lane, and even
Whoa,
then,
whoa,
I
whoa.
eventually dropped Serial Experiments
Oh,
Lane.
Whoa.
You pissed
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
just
people
dropped
off
a
there,
huge
Jack.
bomb right there, but alright.
I will have to look up what he's talking about.
Oh, you haven't heard of Serial
It's like-
Experiments Lane?
One of the
Honestly,
greats.
no. It's from the 90s.
I mean,
so
I
I'm guessing-
haven't watched it.
Yeah, I see it. It's from It's from the 90s, so I can already see why you guys saying
It's an art house
piss off a
show.
lot of
It's
people.
too esoteric for my small brain.
Oh, like, goddamn. That's a big one. That's a chunky one you just dropped right there.
Hang on.
Yeah, well, Wise Man fucking sucks. Don't watch it. It's bad. But maybe do watch the next show we're gonna be talking about, Love of Kill.
Don't watch Love of Kill.
Which one's that? Fuck, I can never remember these titles.
It's
Kuroshi Ai.
A bit of a tangent, but why do all the names this season just sound so forgettable?
I don't know.
I can imagine
Every light
apart
novel
from, like-
title, except for
apart
one
from, like-
this season, has a
apart from,
horrible
like,
title.
apart from like funny light novel names, these are like pretty standard names. I
guess Love of Kill could be. Well, I don't know.
Oh, no.
Love of Kill honestly sounds like a fucking Bond
Sounds
movie.
like it reminds
That is
me of
true.
like All You Need Is Kill. I don't know why that just came to mind.
Probably
Yeah.
because it has the word kill in it.
I'll be honest, when I started this show, I initially thought it was actually, like, it actually had a decent chance of, like, being good. Because the visuals, okay, they're kind of bad, but they were better than most things this season, so I was like, okay, I can tolerate.
I wouldn't say they're bad.
They're bad. They're
It's
bad.
not exceptional, but I would not say it's bad.
I'd say they're bad, but being just normal bad visuals is being more visually good than most other things this season. So I was like, okay, I don't like the visuals, but I can at least tolerate them. And then when I saw the OP with like all the cards and shit and like, you know, seems to have like this sort of like energetic fun vibe, I realized, you know, that was the moment I realized this is a romantic comedy. And I actually
that's what threw me off guard.
I will say, like, I think the premise of it is neat. I just like it just kind of didn't land, in my opinion.
This show is just that old Mad TV cartoon Spy versus Spy, but if the two spies were romantically into each other.
Yeah.
Or I guess in this case, one of them was stalking the other and Stockholm syndroming the other into being in love.
Well, I guess we should go into the premise of this show, which, at least in my opinion, is fucking amazing. Where basically the main girl is a bounty hunter and the main guy is someone with a massive bounty on his head who has probably committed various murders. Or actually,
Crunchy, put some respect on her name for having the best character name in this entire season. Her name is fucking Chateau Dankworth.
Dankworth. I didn't
epic.
I didn't even pick up on that.
This is once again an Ace Attorney moment.
Chateau
Dankworth.
Dankworth.
I mean, they definitely thought about the name, so, you know, good on them for going that far.
Well, they tease at the end of the episode that it's most likely a code name, and her real name is like a mystery that they're gonna kind of play
Imagine,
on.
Her name
like,
is
picking
goddamn
a code
Chateau.
name, you're like,
of
you're
course it's a code name.
Yeah, okay, the Chateau part makes sense, but who comes up with, like, okay, my code name is Chateau, because, you know, food, right? But, like, Dankworth. Yeah, no,
She fucking blazes, bro.
Maybe it sounds better in
Look at
Japanese.
that stone cold expression. Bro, that stone cold expression on her face, it's not called stone cold for no reason. You know that, like, when she's alone in her apartment, she just fucking tokes that shit 24/7.
Well, I'll be honest, my main problem with this show, right? And it is somewhat my fault, because I came in with expectations. Because when I saw the OP and realized sort of what the premise was getting at, I was like, this show's gonna be ridiculous. It's gonna be like some Love is War type romantic comedy shit, where the two main characters are going out on like assassin missions, and you know she's gonna be hunting down people with like ridiculous over the top action, and these two people are gonna have like hilarious interactions and be like super, you know, like this fun couple. And then you watch the actual show and it takes itself seriously, and you want to shoot yourself. Because this is not a show
Yeah,
that
that's pretty
wanted
accurate.
to take itself seriously.
That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, like the premise of it is neat. It's just it doesn't, what they're actually doing with it doesn't really.
Yeah, it feels like something
work.
like, oh hey guys, we're gonna be like this, but like we're gonna be like this, not the way that you probably want it.
I didn't get that vibe entirely. Like, I get what you're trying to say, but I do think that it is trying to play the love story seriously. Like, it is inherently a very goofy premise that this ultimate assassin who has never been caught and like is like the ultimate killer. He's killed, like, he took down like an entire fucking criminal organization by himself in one night, and he has fallen for this beautiful bounty hunter girl, and is like basically Stockholm syndrome and stalking her into becoming his girlfriend, at which he literally kind of does at one point. But there is somewhat of a, I think like what it's trying to do is balance this dark fucked up romance with like a tinge of wholesomeness. Like, it's supposed to be cute the way that I had the guy's name written down, Riang Ha, because I think he's Korean. It's trying to be cute with how he's trying to appeal to Chateau by catching her bounties for her and like tying them up and like presenting them for her. And it's like, it's supposed to be like, oh, instead of getting her like chocolates or jewelry, she's like, hey babe, for our date idea, I got you these fucking like criminal scum that I beat the shit out of and tied up for you. I knew you were hunting down. I love you, babe.
I mean, I feel like that might work if like the art was even slightly better, so that I could buy into the idea that it's cute. And if the show like actually gave some,
Chateau's got some cute expressions. Well, when he like pulled back her hair to check her ears to see that they were pierced at one point, and like to see how flustered she got.
I do not even
remember
remember
usually
that.
Stoic. Oh, that was like my favorite part of the episode.
I feel like, you know, you're saying like, oh, it has all these cute I feel like if the show put some like more emphasis on like what's supposed to be cute, you know, like maybe, you know, add some like flower, like those sort of like flowers in the background, you know, change the lighting a bit, make the like.
That's what they do.
Do they? I don't remember that. At all.
I think the reason that you're not remembering it that much is because this is very much a moving manga show. The presentation is like the bare minimum level of acceptable.
Then yeah, of course
it's not acceptable.
Like this kind of show.
It's not acceptable.
I was able to tolerate, dude. I watched fucking what the fuck was it called? Genius Prince, and I was like, that shit is unacceptable. Whereas this is like the bare minimum of an anime, but at this point, I feel more inclined to, if the anime doesn't like keep up a certain level of quality,
your
I'll just
standards
stop and read
just
the manga
lowered
instead.
Because this season happened.
No, well, like, granted, like, this is one of the few shows from this block that I thought are worth looking at. There are only a certain, like, let me, like, not counting one particular show that we added to the list later that we'll explain later. I'm going down this real quick. Yeah, there's 2 shows from this list that I would say are worth keeping track of. And, like, 2 shows are, like, you might be interested in looking into, but aren't particularly great. And, well, actually, okay, 3. Yeah, 3 shows. Not counting that one that we added. This is in that category of, it's not, like, it's not gonna blow your mind, and you're probably better off, like, either reading the manga, or you maybe not even like it, but like it's 100 times worth more checking out than fucking Pupil of the Wise Man or Genius Prince.
Well, you know
or
what?
Fucking Strongest Sage.
I can at least agree with you on that front. There are things this season that Kuroshi Ai is far better than.
That says more about the season than it does
you're comparing
about Kuroshi Ai.
You're comparing a 1 out of 10 to like a 3 or a 4 out of 10.
I wouldn't say this is like a 3 or 4.
It's
this is
a
like
3.
this is what I think is like
Okay,
a 6
6 is
out
a
of 10.
little
That's-
too
it's
high.
not a
It's
6.
a 5
That is
at
high.
most.
That is high.
Six is being generous, and maybe if this
I'd
were a
say-
more
I'd say
this were a more
5.
competitive season.
I'd say
I'm
5
of,
out of 10.
of course this is literally me just going off of one episode. It could horribly spiral. Like I could definitely see myself dropping this show, but like I could at the very least see myself watching the second episode, which is much more than I could say about those other bad shows.
I mean, I'd much rather continue Sasaki and Miyano than this.
Yeah, same. And
No,
I
I
didn't
would
continue
much
either.
rather continue this show. Sasaki Miyano doesn't have Chateau in it, and Chateau is pretty cute.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the character design. Just the art isn't really that well rendered in the anime for the most part. She's all right. It's not horrible looking. It's just kind of bad. But I mean, I've slammed the visuals pretty hard. To be fair, it probably doesn't deserve as much shit as I'm giving it for the visuals, especially since I haven't given other shows as much shit, even though most of the shows looked worse than this. So, yeah.
There was one moment that I liked near the beginning between Ranghya and Chateau is that when Ranghya pulls out his phone to try to get Chateau's number, his ass has a fucking BlackBerry and current years.
okay, that was.
I didn't even know they still make Blackberries,
I
do
think
they?
they still do.
I think they're finally stopping.
Cause yeah, BlackBerry was like the closest thing to a smartphone. It was like that stepping stone between like the platonic ideal of the cell phone and then the smartphone. It was that in between step. The last thing I want to note about Love of Kill is that what the fuck is up with the weird secretary dude with no mouth?
He had no mouth?
Yeah, he has no mouth.
Yeah, he was like the dark skinned dude.
He must scream.
Yeah, he has
Oh, you
no
mean
mouth.
Jim?
I
Good
didn't
old
get
Jim?
it. Oh, is that what
Yeah, Jim.
is that what his name was?
Jim,
yeah,
a classic.
I don't get it.
I mean, I guess it's.
Why did he have no
I
mouth?
guess it's a way to make a sort of like low effort, sort of like background character that is easy to draw, but also looks somewhat distinctive.
Yeah.
He's not a background character. He's like he's one of the side cast.
I mean,
Why does he
doesn't-
have no mouth?
the no mouth makes me think.
I guess it looks cool.
Big role in the show.
I think they were trying to make like a meme character, or like the closest thing to one, and their only idea was don't give him a mouth.
I mean, I'd say that's pretty smart in a way.
I mean,
I didn't get it. I was struggling. I was racking my brain the entire episode, being like, is there like a joke I'm missing? Is he like supposed to be wearing like a full body mask or
No,
something?
that's just
like
his
a
character
I mean,
design.
normally when a character has like missing an entire detail in their face, it just means they're like a background character or like a side character.
No, this one's just like a visual character quirk.
Yeah, he just has no mouth. I don't get it. It looks like
I
he's
mean,
just
does he actually
unfinished.
have a nose
bit
either?
of the
Technically.
probably as much of a nose.
Yeah, okay,
as
now I
most
see, because
guys
see, usually
in
these
anime.
types of characters, they usually have like a face mask. That's usually like their thing, but like it's just a void.
It's like God erased his facial features.
It reminds me of the guy from My Senpai is Annoying. I forget his name, but like I think
Kazuma.
not Kazuma. I don't think. The director guy.
Because
Who he's like Bucho, his name.
well, at least he had like a mustache.
Yeah, his mustache
Because like
was
usually
fairly
characters like that with
distinctive.
what's his mouth?
But he didn't have
Yeah.
eyes. But like that was also, at least I felt, because he was like, I mean, I guess he has a bit of a role in the show. Probably the same amount of a role actually as this guy does. I already forgot his name, but So I feel like they're just missing features because they're like not important, is the idea. At least that's how I interpret it. So if I was supposed to see that and think, oh, no mouth, what an important character, because that's distinctive. If I was supposed to think that, they failed.
It's just kinda not funny, didn't laugh. Speaking of things that aren't funny and not laughing, but instead crying, Platinum End. Man, what a fucking fall from grace.
I thought it's Orient.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah,
I think we skipped
Orient
a few
and
shows. I think we skipped you.
Wait, did you not see the... what order did I put it in?
After
my
Love
bad.
of Kill, it's Orient, and then Rusty or Bisco, and then
right,
Platinum.
my bad. Okay, that's a mistake on my end. Whoopsie daisy. Actually, you know what? My apologies. I want to preserve the order of talk about Platinum End then Orient because there's a bit of a theme going on between those two shows. They're based on stories by authors who made better things beforehand.
Okay, can I start with something with saying Orient?
So forgive my inconsistency.
So are we starting with Orient, or are we going with Platinum End first, just to be clear?
We'll start with Platinum End
right.
because I feel like I have not that much to say about either show, but I want to start with Platinum End because it's the bigger gut punch.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I'll start with by saying that I really like in the first place I kind of just don't enjoy like battle royale shows just in general, but I really don't like it when writers try to make a character as depressed as possible. Like there's ways of like writing that element correctly, and it is not the case here. Like it was just the author.
He's depressed without.
It was just the author putting throwing on darts to see how he can make this character's life miserable.
Yeah, he's just throwing darts at the board with paper attached to them, and he hit the parents are dead, abusive.
No, but don't forget, like his estranged family members were the ones that killed their parents for insurance money or something like that. Of course.
Yeah, that they did do that. And he's about to take his life, but then he is saved by who I can only assume exists in the fucking parallel opposite mirror universe of the Shinigami from Death Note. These angels from heaven who've come down. This one in particular, I forget what was her name. Didn't it have?
I don't remember.
I can pull up the thing on Annie list, but I actually noticed like.
I have no idea why, but I feel like the name Chernobyl is like screaming out to me, and I can't tell you why.
The angel's name is Nase.
Okay, I have no idea why the fuck. I think there's something in the name Chernobyl that like has something to do with angels or some shit. I don't know. I have to look up the etymology. I don't know why. Because I think that's just kind of like a cliche thing to associate with angels. She comes down to save him by offering. She asked him the question. It's been a while since I watched Platinum End. Like out of all the shows on this podcast, Platinum End was the longest gap of time. You're gonna have to refresh me.
Well, so basically, it's about like this dude who was about to commit suicide, but turns out like an angel saved him and gave him special powers. One to make people fall in love with him, and the other just to straight up kill people. Oh, and flight. And something about power. Some people having flight. Some people having the power to make people fall in love. Some people having 2 of the powers. Some having the 3.
Didn't she try to pull like the story of the woodcutter's axe, where she asked him a question, and since he answered honestly, she gave him all 3 of the shit.
No, that's not how it went. Like
it was
just
basically
that,
he asked for 2 powers, sort of like not thinking she'd give both of them, but then she said like, oh, well, since you asked, I guess I'll give you both. And he's like, no, I actually want none of them. And she's like, too bad, you get both powers.
Well, it's not that either, because like in the end, like she was actually always going to give her all 3 powers. Like,
oh, she was?
Yeah.
I didn't get that detail then.
Because she's a special great angel, and like because like there's like 3 types of angels, like special grade, first grade, and second grade. Second grade only gives you one power, which is either to make people fall in love or to kill people. The first grade gets both of those powers, while the special grade gives flight.
Speaking of the flight, I did like that one scene where Nase, it was supposed to be like a feel good moment, and like while it wasn't the best looking, I did think that I could see like the uplifting vibes they were going for, where in order to snap the dude out of his depression, she gives him the power of flight, and he's flying all over the place, all around his town, and he's like finally happy and experiencing an emotion other than suicidal depression for the first time. I thought that was neat.
Like a shockingly effective.
That's cool. Too bad. It was a cool scene. Too bad the writer decided to throw in more depression.
It wasn't like after that scene, he straight up like went back to his place, made like the mom tell the aunt tell the truth, and then killed both of them or something like that. Yeah, that was.
Well, he didn't mean to kill them, but it just kind of sort of happened.
This is up there with Death Note. Sure, it's like the same duo, isn't it? Definitely up there with Death Note.
Yeah, literally the same duo, and it's like, what the fuck happened, bro?
Oh, wait,
how'd you go from Death Note?
Yeah, this is the same writer and same artist.
Yeah. Dude, that was the whole pedigree going in.
That's the only reason
the same
people are watching
author
this.
and artist duo. Yeah, the same author-artist duo who made the Death Note manga, made the Platinum End manga.
How the mighty have fallen.
It's so weird because Death Note, between the beginning and up to where L dies, is a fucking masterpiece.
See, what happens is that they thought like, okay, let's recreate the stuff like after L dies, you know? Actually, spoilers for anyone who doesn't know that L dies, but
yeah.
Everyone knows.
If you haven't seen Death Note by
this
point, fuck you.
Like...
Yeah, it's a famous spoiler, and if you haven't seen Death Note by this point, that's your
But
fault.
yeah, like it just feels like the writing mentality is literally just everything after L dies. That's how I describe it.
How much of
that
this
is a good
did you
way of
guys
describing
watch?
it. I watched the first 2 episodes.
I only watched the first episode.
I only watched 2 only because I am slightly curious to see how, like, I'm watching this basically purely off of pedigree. Like, if this show didn't have pedigree, the pedigree that it does, I wouldn't have continued as far as I did. And it's 24 episodes long, and I've heard that it gets even worse.
Like the manga, and I got up to the part where like they were in the stadium. I don't know. It was like. It's been like publishing like years ago, and I had a chance to not buy the first volume. We just won it at an anime con, so it's just one of those things again where I've already read the manga.
Yeah, it doesn't help that this anime.
It was dog shit. Like,
if you were expecting Madhouse's top tier Death Note,
what studio is this?
You were sorely mistaken.
Random ass.
It's not
Signal MD.
It's not 3 Herd. Yeah, Signal MD, who coincidentally enough were the people who made MMO Junkie that we were talking about earlier. But this puts fucking MMO Junkie puts this show to shame.
You must be like a huge fan of like Mirai Nikki if you want to get into this. That's how I'd say it. Like you have to like Future Diaries if you want to like get into this.
In terms of visuals, Platinum End is like very, very basic, and I wouldn't quite say it's bad, but it is like a far cry from like actually looking good. It's just very, very tolerable.
Okay, I don't disagree
I can
with
tolerate
you there.
the visuals, but
I mean, the
good.
main dude is just straight up like light, but he dyed his hair like dark blue.
Because, like, in this season, honestly, Platinum End looks probably better than most of the season. But this came in the fall 2021 season. Do you know how many good good-looking shows came out that season? Yeah, Platinum End looked like garbage.
My Senpai came out that season, so...
yeah, so...
My Senpai puts this to shame.
Fucking Ranking of Kings came out that season.
So Platinum End just looked like dog shit to me. But this season, yeah, Platinum End doesn't look that bad.
It was probably, I mean, comparing it to shows this season, it looked better than 90% of them.
Judging by the story, which was the thing I was most excited going into, because Death Note, like I said before, from start to up to L Dies is like the one of the best, if not the best, written anime.
It's up
I
there.
wouldn't
I'd say it's
Like,
at least up there.
Like if you're talking about like narrative in anime and like dialogue and like just going like fucking the mind games between Light and L is like, you know, even not even that the dynamic between Light Yagami and L is one of the greatest in all of anime
It's up
and
there.
manga.
It's definitely up there.
Like there's a reason that Death Note is one of the most popular anime of all time.
For sure. Like Death Note
And
has
I
like
do believe
I mean, even if I wouldn't give it as high of praise as you two are, it is still a very, very solid, dynamic, you know, very fast paced, very snappy. It feels good to watch these two go at it. No, it is a very, very phenomenally written, sort of dynamic.
it's a battle of intellectual titans trying to one up each other, and the reason that Light, in addition to his big massive brain, is able to combat with L's even bigger massive brain is because he's got supernatural powers on his side. And even then, seeing L trying to weave his mind around the supernatural powers and him adapting to the situation where it's like you can't like these powers shouldn't even exist, and yet this man is able to wrap his mind around it somehow. It's just so fascinating to watch, and then seeing all the different wild cards get thrown into the table, like Misa becoming a second Kira, or Light purposefully losing his memories to try to foil L's plans. And like seeing shit like even fucking Matsuda going rogue in one of my favorite episodes of the show, where he just like does his own thing to try to further the investigation, and he finally gets his moment to shine. Like Death Note is like, watching this just made me feel bad because I just wanted to watch Death Note again. I was just reminded about how good Death Note is and how far we've fallen.
If you look,
Someone brought up Mirai Nikki.
Yeah, I did.
And I do have to say, I have seen the first
That is what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of the whole time. I
it's Future Diaries.
It is. It's like I was shocked at how similar it was to Future Diary. It's like literally the same exact premise where, you know, people are fighting to become God. Like it's the same end goal.
I did find it interesting that they specifically said like they are spending 999 days, right?
Yeah, 999
to fight
days.
amongst each other.
It's like a little over 2
which
years.
is like what, a little less than 3 years?
2.5 probably.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping the show makes use of that to where like the show ends up becoming this struggle over a long period of time. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that when I was reading the synopsis of the manga back when the anime was announced, that like the fact that they said 999 days, it's like, oh, is this show gonna like take place over a long period of time? We don't usually see that in like without a time skip in
I mean, they've made it work before with Bakuman.
Or like in anime in general.
There was no time skip in Bakuman, but the whole story takes place over 8 years. Great.
And another story made by the Death Note duo, which is infinitely better than Platinum Men.
It feels like, whoa, they can definitely do this premise, for sure. But then you watch it and it's like, no.
Because you see the Death Note DNA at work. Like Nase is just Ryuk, but an angel this time, and there is a more innocence to Nase as opposed to Ryuk. Like Ryuk is just more of a chaotic neutral observer, whereas like Nase you could say is also chaotic neutral, but like she's more of an optimist.
And not only that,
Ryuk
Nase is actually actively trying to help the main character.
Well, also
that.
But it's like my favorite moment of Nase is when she's like, "Hey, why don't we kill your aunt now?" why'd you let your aunt just get arrested? Why didn't we kill her too? And like the fact like Nase will like listen to the main dude, I forget his name, and like she'll never force him to do something that he does, like, if he wants something to happen, she will try to make it happen, but like if he doesn't want to do something, she's not gonna go against his orders. But it's just like the fact that she's just so casually and kind of happy to suggest the idea of killing his aunt as casually as like, hey, why don't we go take the dog for a walk? It's just it's kind of like dark.
I mean, I guess there's an
I feel like the main
that.
difference between Nase and Ryuk is that whereas Ryuk was purely like a neutral observer, not really giving much input at all, and basically leaving it up to Light Yagami to act completely of his own volition, so that, Ryuk could just watch and have a good time because humans are so interesting. Nase is sort of like willing to egg on the protagonist and be like, hey, do this. You should really do this.
I mean,
obviously, like you said, Nase, when it comes down to it, won't force the protagonist to do anything, at least so far that I know of in the show. I mean, I only saw the first episode. But Nase definitely, like, in the beginning is like, use the powers like this.
No, but, like, I think the problem isn't really characters like Nase and Ryuk, where they're more of just, like, an observer. The problem is really just the other characters, like, the main characters. Because, like, okay, in Death Note, you have Light Yagami. In Bakuman, you have, like, the Ashiro Gimuto duo, who are, like, both great. But this main character is, like, what does he have going for him other than being depressed and being in love with, like, the main girl? Like, nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't have an edge to him or like a quirk that makes him stand out. He's just a depressed boy. Also, I just looked up his name, and it's funny that we kept mentioning Mirai Nikki because his name is fucking Mirai.
I didn't even put that together. Oh my lord! How did I not put that together? That's hilarious.
I mean, I feel like at this point, like, the authors are like, you know what? These guys know. Who cares?
But like there is a glimmer of that kind of quirkiness, or at least the edge that we were talking about. Not with Mirai, but with the superhero.
Oh yeah, honestly, if he was the main character, I feel like, yeah, this show could be good. Like if it was some dude who was trying to like wipe out everyone else. But no, we have to stick with the average Joe. And honestly, I think that's just a problem I have with most anime in general, really. Whereas like interesting shit happening, but we're always gonna focus on like the average Joe who doesn't want to have anything to do with this.
Yeah, like literally, if that aspect of Mirai's character was different, like if he like tried to want to make a change instead of just wanting to wash his hands of the whole thing together, he'd be way more interesting as a protagonist. I don't think that the Sentai dude would make for like comparatively, yeah, he would make for a better protagonist, but I like that he is going to be like the L to Mirai's light. Like that he's going to be like the rival character. And what makes him interesting is that like on the surface is that he's normally by day he's just like a Sentai actor. He puts on the Power Ranger suit and he does the performances. But now that he has those angel powers, he like pretends to be an actual superhero. Like he's like a fucking Iron Man, and he goes in and stops a bank robbery and kills the bank robbers in front of a news broadcast, but is sure to assure himself to the world and the viewing public as a hero of justice. And we see later that like that's not entirely just for show, that he does want to be just like Death Note, just like Light and L, that he is justice, and he's going to use these powers to become quite literally the god of the new world, or the new god of the world, rather. That's the main difference between Platinum End and Death Note. In Death Note, they're trying to be the god of the new world. In this one, they're trying to be the new god of the world.
It's kind of like, okay, what if we made like Light just another villain instead of, being the main character? Despite the fact that this is like, I don't think this is shonen. Probably, I'm pretty sure it isn't though. It's like they can do more stuff.
It's not in Shonen Jump.
That means they could have taken more risks compared to Shonen Jump. So why does it feel more shonen? Yeah,
it's in Jump Square.
Okay, Jump Square is still shonen, but like that's monthly. Monthly manga usually have more liberties compared to weekly. Yet why is it barely taking any risk? Like Death Note took more risk than this.
I couldn't tell you, Bob.
I mean, I guess it has more edge if that's what you're into.
It's definitely edgier. We do get to see fucking sex happen.
But that's about it.
There is I haven't gotten to this point in the show, but I did see a clip of it online of one of the antagonists of the show with the angel powers. She uses her angel powers to make women fall in love with her, fuck them, and then murder them.
Yeah.
And she gets off on both happening at like the same time.
Out the edge.
And it just makes me sad, dude.
I will say that I
am kind of curious to check out the manga because at the very least the manga will have is it Obata who's the name of the artist?
Oh yeah.
Uba.
Okay, yeah.
Sugumi Uba. Oh wait, no, Obata.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Obata's the artist, Uba is the writer. Yeah, Obata's art is good, and Signal MD tried their hardest to translate it, and like while the character art is like acceptable, like the animation's just shit. It's just
Death
not
Note
good.
looked better.
It doesn't look better than Death Note, which came out over fucking 10 years ago. At the very least, it should look as good as Death Note.
Production.
Yeah, Madhouse at their peak, but like still, over 10 years ago, bro. Okay, do better.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I will say I do have some hope that this will be better than something like Mirai Nikki, which I mean, to be fair, Mirai Nikki is like complete garbage.
No.
Just because
this will probably end up being better
has
than
like
Mirai
a
Nikki.
lot. Like Death Note had good strategies for the most part. It was very fast paced and snappy. Whereas the one thing I really missed in Mirai Nikki that made me hate it so much was that there is no strategy to like when they encounter the other people going for God. They just sort of like coincidentally happen upon each other in Mirai Nikki. Whereas in Platinum End, I feel like it'll be more like, okay.
See, that's where I disagree
People are
with
actively
you.
searching.
Because like in so far in Platinum End and where I got up to, it's like sure the villain like made this whole huge scene in like the stadium and all that, but other than that, it's pretty just circumstantial. Like there's this one part where like the dude's crush, Mirai's crush, turns out to be like an angel, but like it's all just coincidence, happenstance. Like at least with Mirai Nikki had a gimmick with Yuno. Like I don't care if you like her or hate her, she was huge back in her time, like back in like 2011, 2012. And like that's what gives Mirai Nikki the staying power that we're even talking about it right now. I can't see Platinum End having anything like that.
Well, the only reason people ever talk about Platinum End once the anime is like and manga and like are over and done with is just a footnote to the legacy of Oba and Obata, because Death Note will always forever be their legacy for better or for worse. Like, pardon me, hate the ending all you want, or at least everything after L dies. It's not nearly as good as the peak of Death Note, but it's still a masterpiece. And Bakuman, I haven't read it yet or watched it yet, but I've also heard it's a masterpiece. And those two will forever be their two golden child, their golden children. And Platinum End is a problem child.
Okay, Platinum End will probably just be remembered as a footnote. Mirai Nikki will probably be still memed on from years from now.
Well, like the reason Mirai Nikki is being memed on is because it's like it was one of the big anime at the time of it came out, and I get like in a sense it kind of invented yandere because like while there are characters that you can describe as yandere that came
she basically put yandere as a meme on the anime community. Like basically cemented yandere as the meme.
Yeah, like fucking Yukiko from the Part 4 manga of JoJo was a yandere before Yunagasai existed, but Yunagasai put yanderes that
it's like how Filthy Frank made weeaboo like an actual term in like most normie culture. Like that's what Yuno did.
But Platinum End just kind of offers nothing that you can't get better elsewhere or even from Obata and Oba themselves.
I guess if you're really desperate for another Mirai Nikki, I guess you can go for it.
You could do worse.
I'll probably watch another episode of this. It's not that the first episode like hooked me in or anything, but I mean it's more entertaining than most things this season. And it's like,
oh yeah, dude, even fucking Obata and Oba's
Oh,
worst
yeah, of
are
course.
miles ahead of
This is just
other people.
it's a shit season, so we're shitting on it now,
Yeah.
but it's probably one of the better
Sadly, I do
shows
not
that we're
care
discussing right now.
No,
Sadly,
well,
I do not
okay,
really
well,
care.
comparatively.
Sadly, I do not really care for like this type of story, so I'm just gonna skip out on it.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame you. Just go watch Death Note
Mm-hmm.
because I know you haven't. You fucking Philistine.
No, I know, but I know what happens in it. I watched the movie though with you. That was pretty funny.
That was pretty epic.
All right, so
Oh, you know what's not epic though?
oh man, can I just
Orient.
like go on a bit of a tangent about my relationship with Orient for a bit? Because like,
sure.
okay, so
Go ahead.
I was a huge Magi fan, ever since like the 2013 anime came out and wrapped up. Like I've just been like reading the manga I think it was weekly, something like that. Yeah, point is in that regular interval until it ended. I was like, damn, such a great ending. So Orient came out, like it was announced like, this is just a generic fantasy. It doesn't have the wonders of the 1001 Arabian Nights kind of thing like Magi had. And I was like, okay, maybe the premise is a bit weak, but I'll read it anyways. And then it's like 3 chapters in, man, this is still shit. This turned out to be mid. And then the anime came out like recently, like this year. It's like, man, this is still shit. Come on, dude. Like, why?
I have not seen anything from Magi yet. I've heard that it's good. I've heard like the one that people say the best one is Sinbad. I think.
I'm not a fan of Sinbad, but yeah, that's what a lot of people like.
But I did I looked it up going into it because I thought this one had a bit of a pedigree, and sure enough, yeah, it's by Shinobu Otaka, the creator of the Magi series, and I saw the score
going 5.99.
Yeah, I saw the
Oh,
score going in.
dear.
It's got a 5.99 right now, which is like
Yeah,
just barely below a 6, but that's weird. Okay, and I figured it out why that it has the score that it does. It's not only is it because it's just not as good as Magi is probably. It's because people were expecting the next Magi, and they were met with a
It was like a
low-tier
generic
shonen.
fantasy. It has no aesthetic to it.
And it's I don't think it quite deserves like the average score that it has. Like we said before, you
wasn't
go
that
below on
bad.
6. You like that's reserved for like actual garbage shows.
Yeah.
This show
Yeah, this
I
one-
enjoyed more than most of the
I mean,
other
I guess
shows this
so.
block.
I found it whatever. I found it.
I mean,
found
I'm just
it
a sucker
whatever,
for
but-
shonen.
It works as a shonen in the
fair enough.
baseline level, but shonens can be pretty fucking good when they're pretty fucking good, you know? And this
Yeah, I mean that's why I
Yeah.
said this is low tier as
I mean,
fuck.
it's compared to the season, it's
Um,
serviceable, but yeah, like, I guess the score is also way too low. Like, it should be closer to, like, at least hitting, like, the
Yeah,
7s for Mal.
It should be within the
Yeah,
6
yeah.
range, not the 5 range.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe-
too
when
harsh.
maybe give it like a 6.30 or something, but
Yeah.
5.99 that's too low.
When I saw the score, I was like genuinely surprised because this is, I struggled to say like, oh, it's one
I think
of
it's
the better
just
shows.
I
we've
think
seen.
it's just Maggie fans trying to cope.
It's.
I
like,
think it's just
This
a case
is
of
Magi
Magi
it's
Copium.
copium.
on the upper half of the shows we've seen as opposed to the lower half.
Yeah,
I will say that.
yeah, it's definitely there, but oh man, as a huge Magi fan, it's like
Mhm.
big sad.
Yeah, I can see if I were a Magi fan, I too would be disappointed.
I at least could.
To
get
be
through
honest,
the first...
even if I was a Magi fan, I probably wouldn't know. I probably
Okay,
wouldn't
the
know
thing
it was
is,
the same
Magi
guy.
has amazing world building. Like this is
girl.
like based on the premise of the 1001 Arabian Nights, where like the characters come to life and all that. And it's like it's amazing because you learn like the different factions and the different countries. But here, it's just generic fantasy. I hate this.
Well, maybe Shinobu just wanted to get away from the pre-established lore of the
I mean,
Arabian Nights.
okay,
and wanted
that's
to make her
fine,
own
but like
mythology.
the mythology like be aesthetically pleasing, like something like an interesting setting.
I mean, the setting is kind of interesting. Granted, like the entirety of the first episode takes place within that village, and we have yet to see like the full world in the context of these demons and how they rule over the world. Like I thought the revisionist history shit that went on in this village in particular was interesting, of how the Bushi that used to fight the demons got like so beat out before in the past that when the demons took over, they just straight up revisionist history that shouldn't be like the Bushi were evil and the Onis were the good guys, and so Bushi are now looked down upon as outcasts, whereas everyone praises and aspires to be like the Oni. There's that one scene of the kid who's like, when I grow up, I can't wait to work in the fucking coal mines and mine enough ore for our precious Oni overlords. And the mom is like, very good,
I don't know,
son.
it feels like
I'm
a little
proud of
too
you.
cartoonish for like what propaganda does, but sure, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I
agree
mean,
with
if
you
you're fucking,
completely.
that's literally what propaganda revisionist history
know.
does to a motherfucker.
True. Like when they open the gate and it's just immediately like, okay, you're now slaves. You're gonna work until you die, and look at all this misery around you. Admittedly, I found it a little funny.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I was expecting that to happen. Like, we as the audience know that they're fucking doomed. We're just waiting
I don't
for
know,
the
I just don't
characters
like
to
it
catch
when
up
like
to
shonens in
us.
particular like are just being very cartoonishly like showing how things are bad, but they do it in like a cartoonishly bad way. Because like, it doesn't hurt to have some
I mean,
nuance.
I wouldn't say getting fucking eaten alive is cartoonish, though. Granted, the way they showed it was weak sauce, because I think he spit the one demon when he ate the dude. He spit him out when he was still whole, but only his clothes and like saliva came out in the next shot, which is weird.
The directing didn't really feel like it sold the horror of like, oh, now we're it just more felt it felt almost flat in the way it was presented. So I couldn't really do anything but laugh. I feel like there was a better way to handle this that would have gotten me a bit more genuinely invested in the situation. But when the one dude falls out of the sky on a motorcycle, that was pretty cool. That was pretty fun.
Too bad the motorcycle was horribly ugly CG.
True.
I like the opening though. It's sort of catchy. That's about it.
Yeah, the opening was kind of nice.
I don't remember the opening.
It's like a catchy J-pop boy band,
I did like the character designs of our main duo of Musashi and Kojiro. I kind of prefer, like, they show us a flashback of them as kids. I kind of prefer Musashi's kid design to his teen one. In a sense, and like because I kind of miss like the kid Goku or Gon kind of designs or shonen where the protagonist is a kid instead of a teen. We don't get those too often now anymore.
I do not really remember what he looked like as a kid.
I think it was like, I couldn't remember if he had no shirt or he was just outside training with his friend and he just happened to have no shirt on at the time. But I liked the simplicity of his design. Not to say that his teen design is bad. I did like the what he was wearing. I like his goofy fucking katana pickaxe, which looks wildly impractical, but still the way he uses it is a little badass. Using the ground as a sheath to fucking slice people up.
I really actually enjoyed that moment where it's like, that sort of like fictional strategy of like the practicality of using a pickaxe as a weapon. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sad because as they show in the poster and the OP, he apparently gets like a normal ass katana later, and that's gonna be such a downgrade.
Really?
Keep his
that's lame.
Yeah, keep his fucking pickaxe
That's like
sword.
the most interesting thing the show has so far.
You know what that actually reminds me of?
A pickaxe.
They already got a sword boy.
Like that kind of reminds me
of
of Demon Slayer, where like in the first 3 episodes or something like that, like Tanjiro was like fighting the dude with an axe. Like, oh, he's not going to use a sword. That's really original. And then he gets a sword.
I never picked up on that in Demon Slayer. I thought he just used an axe because
I don't know. I thought it'd be
all
cool.
he
Like,
had.
this one fights with an axe. It was like, oh, okay, of course it's going to be a sword. It literally says Kimetsu on the title. I mean, the Yaiba part. I don't know what the Kimetsu part is.
Let's just instead of watching all this shit where people, use swords instead of cool weapons, just read Katana Gatari, where the swordsman doesn't even use a sword, just whips out his fucking fist and punches people. That's better.
Oh, I thought you were describing Gintama for a second. Because I think that literally the same thing happens.
I mean, he uses a wooden sword. But, like...
But does he, like, straight up... Don't, like, several arcs in Gintama just end with Gintama screaming domestic violence and then beating the shit out of the bad guy with his bare fucking hands?
Sorta, but not really. But yeah, sure. In a way.
I did like that in Orient, the Kojiro, the friend dude, had it because he was a descendant of Ibushi. As punishment, the village chained his fucking sword to him at all time as like a visual punishment, as like to brand him as Ibushi.
Anything else to say about this show?
Nah, I got nothing.
Not really.
I noted that they pulled a fucking X-arm in one shot and zoomed in on a frame instead of drawing it at higher resolutions, which is a fucking sin.
Ever since...
Just draw it at a higher resolution, forehead.
Ever since I first noticed that, like, you know, the show's, like, zooming in on a shot instead of just, like, drawing a new picture, I see it everywhere now, and I can't get it out of my head. I've been cursed.
Yeah, I thought X-Arm was the only one to do it, but now I can add fucking Orient to the list. And you can tell because it's just like, it's like the same as zooming into a low-res picture in like Photoshop or some shit, or even on like your phone. It's like zooming into a 720p picture on your iPhone. You can tell, you can count the pixels, bro. Just don't do it. My other remaining notes is that Musashi's a fucking dumbass, where when he walks into the Oni's lair and he's like reaching for his pickaxe sword, but I guess he fucking forgot that he handed it to the dude, or I guess he somehow didn't notice that the dude's like took his sword from him. I thought he like was gonna like take it back from him, from the dudes, but
I mean, I just assumed it was like muscle memory.
I mean, because like he made that sword out of like the special ore that he found, and that's why he's like the top miner, because he was also been training the whole time. And like it feels like the building blocks of a decent shonen are here. As far as the anime goes, they just needed a better studio than fucking ACGT.
Have they even made anything relevant besides Orient? Not that Orient even is relevant.
Let me check. They made Freezing. They made the original Kino's Journey.
Okay, I guess they're actually veterans.
They helped JC Staff make Scientific Accelerator.
Huh.
They've made a few shows. They don't make shows often, but they've been around for nearly 2 decades.
Alright, I guess that's something.
But yeah, that's all I
next
got.
Next one then?
Yep, now we're gonna...
Go ahead.
Just gonna say we finally get to talk about an unqualified good show
from
this season finally, and a fucking light novel adaptation,
crazy.
No less, which
shocked
me
like,
entirely.
Man, this is a light novel adaptation. Oh well, might as well put it on ×2 speed. And
is it what I think it is?
Rust Eater Bisco.
It's motherfucking Rust Eater Bisco, baby.
Oh, it wasn't the show I thought it was, but yeah, I actually agree this one is good. No disagreement here.
I was shocked to find out this was a light novel, and also doubly shocked that this is also a new studio. This is
I will say though, I was the first episode. I think I might watch more of this. But like the first episode, the structure was kind of confusing at me because it kept like jumping back and forth between like locations, and I think.
And
like
they
time?
also did also time. It did kind of bother me too, but I feel like that's gonna stop now after this first episode.
It's just that first episode thing, because I don't think it was that bad. Like second episode onwards.
Personally,
It kind of reminded me.
I actually kind of appreciated the show sort of jumping around perspectives like that, because like it never really felt confusing to me.
It was just,
and it always kept things like it stopped the pace, like the pacing from getting too slow or whatever. There was always like, oh, and now we're in a new location, learning a new thing with a new guy.
I think they just could have made that like smoother, because it really did just feel like it just cut to that.
Yeah, I was also shocked to find out that this is by a new studio, Studio Oz. This is their first brand new show, and it's making quite the splash in the seasonal charts. It wasn't that high before, but it's been climbing the ranks. It's now sitting at 8th place in the popularity charts on Mal.
I'm just shocked that the show actually looks pretty good.
It looks it's one of the better looking shows this season. It's not as far as character designs go, like as character artwork goes, I'd say like it's got the best range of designs. Like no single design from the show is going to touch Kitagawa, but as far as like as a collective, I would say this show from this season exclusively has like the best
oh yeah, it's like very
designs of the
vibrant. Like I
season.
love like how like it sort of meshes well.
The director is also the character designer. His name is Atsushi Ikiraya, and I'm looking at his past work. He did the character design for ID Invaded, which also has really good character designs, even though I didn't watch it. He's also a character designer for the Fate Stay Night movies.
Oh, okay, that explains a lot.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
Ufotable, yeah, and the Ufotable adaptation of Unlimited Blade Works.
He did character designs for The Devil's a Part-Timer.
All right.
Did he? Oh shit, he did. And he
So
was
he's
the
like-
chief animation director.
So he has
And
a
he did some
strong
key animation
portfolio,
on fucking
which is
Kill
why
la
the
Kill.
show ended up being as good as it was.
Also, he did character designing, animation directing. Okay, yeah, this dude is heavily like big from the Fate franchise. So that's probably why all these designs look really translated really well from the light novel.
I mean, honestly, you
Well, I
translated it
guess
so
now it
well.
makes
I just
sense
assumed it was a
how-
manga adaptation.
I thought it was manga too because usually with light novels, we don't get designs this complex.
No, not complex. I don't think complex is the
Usually
real
because
is the right
there's
word.
nowhere to like showcase it.
Or at least like
Yeah, because like
this imaginative.
light novel
at
designs
least,
tend to
'cause,
be like more hyper stylized to fit that like pretty Pixiv look, but like nothing too experimental. But like this leans the other way.
To be fair, Rust Eater Bisco does have a manga, so the anime might have taken some cues from
Most light novels do have
Yeah.
light novels have mangas.
that.
Yeah. So another thing that I was thankful to see in Rust Eater Bisco, fucking world building. Wow,
The world
remember
building
world
is
building,
amazing.
guys?
Oh yeah, that's
I
great.
couldn't tell you fucking. I reminded how much I love world building in the season that doesn't have barely any of it.
Let's see. You're right. Damn.
So in this show, I also didn't mention this about Orient, and I also need to mention now because I made it a point in the fall podcast that we had to cut back when we were talking about fucking Tactop Destiny and how I'm sick and tired of anime opening with fucking narrations instead of just opening on like a fucking event in the story or characters instead of having to dump fucking exposition on us from a narrator who's not even a character in the show about talking about like proper nouns and encyclopedias worth of shit that we have no context for, and talking about how the quasars came down and took over the world and introduced the transporters that generated the fucking the ninjas or like the shooting star warriors. Whereas this show opens up with a goddamn apocalypse. You don't need a motherfucking narration for that shit. This show opens with a goddamn explosion that destroys Tokyo. That's how you fucking grab an
Yeah,
attention.
it definitely knows how to hook you in.
The world building was like very natural throughout the entire show, Well, at least for the first episode. Like, it never felt like you were being dumped too much or too little. There was always, like, these little tidbits to hold your attention, like how the mushrooms are, like, this illegal drug trade, and, like, ooh, the main character's into them. What could he possibly want with them? And they also, like, you can, through some way, make the mushrooms do like huge damage to the surrounding area, and there's like this terrorist going around destroying shit. His name is Bisco. Just there's a lot of small world building details, but they're all like stuff that'll stick in your mind. Like me being able to recall that more than most shows this season.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're able to sprinkle in the details about this new post-apocalyptic world to us. They don't put all of their cards on the table. We still don't know after the first episode exactly how rust works or exactly how the mushrooms work, or even if the mushrooms really do spread the rust. We don't even see like the mushrooms actively spread rust to anyone, but we're able to, like, through just context clues and respecting our goddamn intelligence, we're able to piece together in our minds what rust is or what rust does to a person. And it's just like it looks like a cancer that like just spreads across your body and will just like consume it.
It's very good. Well, we'll see, but it is definitely the best show in this second block.
Well,
by far.
Well, it's the best show of the second block of this season. Like,
still debatable.
There's one show that we're going to talk about
debatable.
next. There's one show that we're going to be talking about next that's, if we did the fall podcast, I would have been so happy to talk about, but now that we're going to have
it
a chance
was my
to talk
anime
about
of
it
the
here,
season. And it's probably the best anime from, like, what we're going to be discussing as a whole year.
The last year. Well, I mean, it should qualify for anime of the year for this year now, since it'll end in this year, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. Back to Bisco. So we're treated to our two main characters, Bisco, the Rust Eater, who disguises himself because he's a wanted criminal accused of spreading rust by turning shit into mushrooms somehow. He has these magic arrows, I guess, that when he shoots them, any substance he hits, living or otherwise, get turned into mushrooms. So he is dubbed a mushroom terrorist.
I will say this shows, like, something about all the elements produce, like, a very particular feeling. Like, the fact that it's mushrooms doing the terrorism, and that there's rust, and that's, like, that specifically is what you need to look out for. It's, like, just gives this very specific aesthetic that, like, if any detail were different, I feel like wouldn't be captured as well. But that because all of the details are just there, as they are, creates this very specific feeling to the world and, like, what the show is trying to present. And I really appreciated that feeling.
Obviously, it's a lot more fantastical than what I'm about to compare it to, but, like, I did get a big Mad Max vibe from the whole thing.
Yeah, that's gotta be it, because, like, with the whole desert setting and all.
Yeah, apparently, like, the town that this show takes place is, like, Neo Tokyo, right?
More kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and then everything outside of it is just, like, a fucking barren desert hellscape. Which is kind of crazy because we see it's like a bright. Well, granted, I guess we don't see Tokyo in the daytime, but outside when we see Bisco trying to enter the city with his supply of mushrooms and shit, he's it's broad daylight out there. But when we get into this city, it's all takes place at night. So unless maybe it's also like fucking Blade Runner rules where it's like. It's always night, or like we only ever see the city at night.
Maybe.
I don't know. I believe it's a fucking post-apocalypse. Maybe the fucking pollution is so awful that they like once you're within the walls of the city, you just can't fucking see the sun anymore.
It is though, because like it's literally because of like an apocalypse and all that.
And then we are introduced.
Oh no, you go ahead.
I'm just gonna talk about our other main character, Dr. Panda.
I really like his
who is
design.
I really love his design too. I don't think they ever explain why one of his eyes is so black like that.
They don't need to.
Because at first I thought it was either. Yeah, they don't need to. Like, I don't fucking care. Any explanation I get won't be as satisfying as him just being known as Dr. Panda. That's just a very Mad Max thing.
Mm-hmm.
So far he doesn't have too much. I mean, I guess he has a little bit of personality, but not too much so far.
He's got personality. He's a good boy. He's like he is the ray of sunshine in this dark, decrepit world that is Neo Tokyo. He's a doctor. He's curing and treat. Well, he can't cure it yet, but he can treat rust and help delay the onset of its effects.
Yeah, him being a doctor
and
he's like the most interesting part of his character so far, because it sort of like ties into the world building. But it's definitely a good sort of basis for a character that I feel like with time, because this first episode was mostly just like world building and getting us into the setting, I feel like with time he can become a very interesting character.
Yeah, his arc is that he's trying to collect mushrooms to create a cure for rust, specifically for his sister, who is slowly succumbing to it. And we find at first I thought it was gonna be like kind of like a Joey Wheeler situation where the sister is like the end goal, and she like, well, she can be a character. She just exists as like a thing to be like saved while she's just like bedridden. No, this motherfucker, when she finds out that the mushroom terrorist is in town, gears up and is apparently a fucking bounty hunter the whole time, and like a bounty hunter samurai lady. And like even with this rust infection, she goes out, gear out and all, to try to hunt him down, which we'll see in the second episode. Like that's badass.
Did you watch the second episode?
I did not, but
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a show worth continuing.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
One of the details that I noticed that like just this is the kind of show that like feels like its world was thought out, and like even like things that don't matter to the narrative, like to the immediate narrative, but like matter at least in the like the world building sense. Like my favorite detail that never gets directly addressed is that at the border check that Bisco is in with the dude and the smaller child, is that they at the border check, it's like kind of dirty, kind of like run down and like all mechanical. It's very much function over form, and they just have like this big painting of a pretty lady on it, and like in there, what is like I guess their office. And I can only assume that the reason that they have that big, beautiful framed picture of a pretty woman is just like to stave off boredom. Because what the fuck else do you do in that border check office where the only other things you see are like gears turning and sand?
That's actually kind of a funny detail now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like once I noticed, I was like, oh, I appreciate that. And like it never gets addressed by any character. It's just a thing that is there for you to notice and for you to pick up on, which I respect immensely.
I wonder if that was in the light novel.
Maybe. If it is, it makes me want to check out the light novel more. If this is the wavelength that the writer is operating on, then I would definitely.
Yeah, I feel like the light novel would
even though I
would probably like describe a lot of the stuff, because like considering how like visually everything's already presented, like show don't tell. I imagine the light novel is gonna be something similar to that.
I'm also looking forward to the light novel explaining why the fuck the governor's crime posse or whatever are just pink rabbit mascots.
You know, as ridiculous
like, what the fuck
as ridiculous as that detail is, I feel like it kind of works.
Oh yeah, it works in the sense like, yeah, like fucking why do the people in Mad Max all wear like fucking chrome face spray and war paint? Don't fucking question it, bro. It's the post-apocalypse. And it's like if they were just normal dudes in suits, it would be infinitely less interesting.
For sure.
The last thing I have of note before we move on, for the sake of time, the music bangs.
Oh, dude! Speaking of the music,
I didn't
that opening. Come on, that's like one of the sickest openings this season.
It's one of the best of the season, and like the fucking track that drops when like the border patrol dude, like in between the scenes, like the border patrol dude would be like, hey, why do I thought monks don't carry bows because they don't like do any kind of fighting? Or speaking of which, why are you coming in to this city at all with like this ash of dead people? Or like, is this like a weird time of the year for you to be doing that? And then it immediately cuts from that to a close-up of Bisco's face, and then him in the city shooting arrows into the city to make mushrooms, and then like the music just kind of go like ba 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 ba. It's just like kind of like grunge metal, and it's like fucking sick. I was like, oh hell yeah, dude. It sets the tone for this kind of show like perfectly.
The one detail about like how I think it's like priests, they can't use ranged weapons because if they kill, they need to like feel the weight of the kill. I really liked that detail. Something very small, but I appreciate it.
I feel like this is the kind of show that's going to not only be like go hard with this world building, but it's just gonna have a fun world.
Honestly, I'm just surprised like it's still below 8.
Like, it feels like it was like a world that was imaginatively thought out. It's like, well, I bring up the name only to compare like the level of thinking. Well, it's not as direct as like a Miyazaki world. Like if you're to take inspiration on world building, take it from fucking
honestly,
Miyazaki.
like the kind of world building it does kind of reminds me more of Made in Abyss.
Yeah, like also that like one of my favorite aspects of like the world building in Made in Abyss is that the kids in that class have to climb to their seats, they have to climb out of the abyss. Like that just makes sense.
It's funny that you bring up Made in Abyss because I literally binge rewatched the entire show yesterday.
And
that's just all I wanted to say.
All right. Any y'all got any more notes about Rusty
just
Bisco?
That opening again?
Not really.
It's like, I don't know why I really like that opening.
Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch.
The only note I have on my page for Rusty Eater Bisco is just, this is awesome as fuck.
It's like,
that is all I wrote about the show.
For me, it's like, it's a 6 right now, but I can see it going to a 7.
What are your what are your impossibly high standards where this really good episode?
I'm feeling a 7 from this episode with the potential to get up to like an 8 or a 9.
I mean, I don't know, like it just doesn't have that spark for me yet. Like everything's there, it just needs that spark. But like a 6.
Bro, that pretty lady picture in the border check station should be all the spark you need.
But like it's definitely one of the better ones this season.
All right. Well, if you now that we mentioned your impossibly high standards, I'm really curious to see what you thought about your cold, hard, unfeeling soul pass judgment upon ranking of kings.
It is amazing. It is like, oof, it's everything I wanted from what I got. Like the first episode, it just shows him like being all weak and meek in that, but no, he proves his worth. And that's
I was tempted to
immediately watch all of the other episodes.
I still have only seen episode 1, but I was like very tempted to just go full ham on binge.
Dude,
it's so good. It's so good.
Matt Braley, creator of Amphibia, was hard sucking the show's dick on Twitter, and I was like, damn, if it's getting the Matt Braley seal of approval from a creator of a show that I really like, then surely it's got to be good. And then I saw the score of it like over the course of last season. I was like, God damn, this show's blowing up. Why is it blowing up so much? It's like, all right, so it's Wit Studio. It's got a quirky, painterly art style. But like, I'm trying to parse out. It kind of feels sort of like a kid's show, not that is like exclusively
It's-
for kids.
It's
in the sense
not
of,
for
like,
kids,
like a show
man.
like
It's definitely aimed
No,
toward
it's
like a younger
not.
audience, but
With the shit that happens later on, it's not.
yeah, like it felt like it gave off Welcome to Demon School era.
I mean, that's
Mykurr
how it is
vibes
at
to
the
me,
start. Yeah.
of like something. Yeah, I would imagine that maybe it gets crazier later, but and then immediately after I watched the first episode, I was like, oh, I get it now. And I had to fight the urge to be like, I could watch these remaining like 6 or 7 shows for the podcast that I helped create and like did. Like head of organization, and it would be very dickish of me to like forego these duties as like the person organizing all these events and trying to like schedule everyone's time at the same time. But then again, I could watch all of these episodes if all these guys watched the same first episode that I did. I could watch the entire catch up to the entire show instead of watching all the other shows for the podcast, and I think the guys would forgive me.
I mean, yeah.
I would have forgiven you.
It is ranking of the king.
Osama ranking is good enough.
Well, Well, for the sake of this podcast, we can't call it's not a winter
So you can't call it
2022
anime of the
show,
season.
so it can't qualify as show. Yeah, it would have been anime of the season last season if we finished
Was
the
it?
fall podcast.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Like I liked Komi-san, I liked My Senpai is Annoying. This
It blows
shit's on
everything
another
out of the
level.
water. In fact, I'd say it blows a lot of things in 2021 out of the water. In 2021, that was a banger year.
Yeah, I was blown away by how simple, but how incredible the show is. Like, it's simple on the surface, but it's got shit going
Like,
on.
honestly,
underneath.
It's very rare for me nowadays to watch a first episode and say this could be a 10 out of 10 if it plays its cards right. But this could totally be a 10 out of 10 if it plays its cards right. Legit.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's rare for me to, like, watch the first episode and give the score as high as an 8. Like, just based on the first episode. Like, usually, like, as much as I like a show, I usually started with, like, a 6 or a 7. This started with an 8. And I was like, well, I think I'm witnessing a masterpiece. But yeah, that's just...
Yeah, I definitely. It's so sad for me to like to not experience that feeling so often of watching the first episode of a show and being like, oh man, this could be like the start of something special. And usually when I do that, it's only for things that end up being 10 out of 10s. But like that happened to me with Azakin. That happened to me with I'm trying to remember. Like I honestly couldn't say that about Dragon Maid when I first watched the first episode of the first season back in 2017, because while I liked it and it was good, I didn't expect it to go into like all these personal themes and directions that appealed to me personally. But like as I grew up, it's like, and as I grow up rather, it's so hard to feel that feeling, but the spark was reignited with Ranking of Kings. This shit is fire.
yeah.
The last time I felt like, just from the first episode alone, that it would be a 10 out of 10, and it ended up being a 10 out of 10 was Barakamon.
Honestly, it kind of gives us...
But this has those vibes.
Yeah, the thing is, like, okay, they're completely different in genre entirely, but it does give the same vibes of, like, you know, like, that kind of... that heartwarming vibe, you know?
Yeah. Heartwarming was like literally the exact word I was thinking. And like, even though I've heard that Ranking of Kings does get like a bit dark as it goes on, it feels like at the end it's still gonna have like a heartwarming, everyone stick it together kind of vibe.
Well, since I've already watched a lot of it, like, from the previous season and all that, like, it's dark, but the message is still heartwarming nonetheless. Like, if anything, if I want to compare it to Barakamon, it kind of reminds me of, like, Honda's struggle, but in the end, like, it's all about, like, the brighter future and all that, you know? Or, like, potential. I don't know how to like
Yeah,
that.
and it's also one of those shows with just like a brighter color palette.
But it works, though.
that's sort of
Like,
like-
it works
I mean,
really
maybe
well.
not. Yeah, it's not like
It's also one of those shows that has an art style that feels inspired and not just cookie cutter by the numbers.
Oh, yeah, I
seen
just
everywhere
love how
else.
unorthodox
Oh, yeah, for
it is.
sure.
Like, after all this garbage, like, oh, Ranking of the King.
Oh.
Chef's kiss.
it feels like a children's book
for sure.
come to life.
Just a little things go a little too dark, but yeah, it's basically like a beautiful children's book.
It is definitely one of the better looking animes I've ever seen.
And it's like if Wit Studio gave up on Attack on Titan to do this, they made the right fucking move. They're like, you know what, Mappa, take your fucking declining show of giants and conspiracy theories and whatnot. We're gonna go make shows about deaf mute kids and
it's
kick your ass while we're at it.
They gave Attack on Titan to Mappa, but then they produce stuff like Vivi and this. It's like, man, Wit never had to worry about anything. Not to mention, next season they're doing Spy Family. Wit Studio.
Oh, they are doing Spy Family.
Is
Wit.
Wit doing Spy Family or is Cloverworks doing Spy Family?
With another studio.
Wait, maybe.
No. Both of them are doing Spy Family.
Oh, so
well then that's gonna have amazing.
Okay.
Oh, so we can expect.
Basically, Wit's okay, we treated Attack on Titan, but it's okay. We can make whatever the fuck we want and make money out of it.
Okay, so now that I'm seeing that Cloverworks and Wit Studio are making Spy X Family next season,
as someone who reads the manga, it's pretty fucking up there.
All right, well, looking forward to that. Back to Ranking of Kings. Boji is fucking awesome. He's so endearing. His design is endearing by nature, and his mannerisms are the fucking cutest.
Yeah, he's just like a deaf kid trying his best. It's like, man, that hits you. That hits you.
Yeah, it is playing on your pathos a little bit by being like, oh, you're naturally gonna take pity on a kid who has a disability, and because of his a lot of the people around him call him an idiot, and while he is definitely naive, he's I definitely don't think he's. I think the point of him is that he's not as stupid as people think he is. He's comes
deaf.
off that
way
because he's deaf, and that's impaired his learning.
And it's natural. Sure, he's beaten to the ground, but it's natural. It's only a natural sequence of events that would lead him to this way. It's not something like Platinum End.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he gets mugged by Kage the Shadow Creature, and at first you think, oh man, maybe he's just kind of maybe just kind of a dum dum, but no, he does it as a token of friendship, and as we see later, he comes back purposefully wearing heavier multiple layers of clothing just to give to his new friend, just to talk to him more. Or rather, not even talk to him because
it's he just wants that friend.
He can only make sounds.
Oh,
he just wants a friend. And that's the cutest fucking shit in the world.
All right.
And Kage the Shadow Creature, he's a good example of sometimes simple is best, because he's literally just a blob. I know, but
he is a blob. He talks out of his fucking hand to claw mouth.
He's the best looking,
it's the kind of thing time. You would It's
it
the
is
kind of
character design.
It is the kind of thing you might see in a cartoon for I don't know, Tom and Jerry or something. It's just that simple.
Yeah, well, that's the whole show, and that's where the strength of Ranking of the Kings lies the most. All of the character designs are simple. They're simple shapes, simple outlines, pretty simple designs, simple colors, and because the character designs are so simple and there's not too much detail, they can animate the fuck out of that shit, and we see that shit come into full force during the sword fight between the teacher and the little shit prince kid. I was not expecting that level of animation to come from, I should have expected it from Wit Studio, but I was not ready for them to show to showcase what level they can operate on even something as non-stakes at low stakes rather as this sparring duel.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Boji, whenever he dodged all that, instantly won my heart.
Oh yeah, it's just I feel that fight at the end of the first episode was just sold you. It's okay, you don't love him enough. all right, let's just do this one little last thing to make sure you do.
I do like that they subverted my expectations with the because I at first I thought it was just gonna be like him trying to fight the kid, but he's just gonna get his ass kicked, and but he's just gonna do like the never give up shtick, which it wouldn't have been bad, but it wouldn't. I'm glad that what they did was way better, because it turns out they didn't fully explain it within the episode, but I can only guess that they're. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, Micah, or tell me otherwise. That they're going to give him the heightened senses bit, because he can't hear, all of his other senses are heightened.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily like that. It's more of just like he just tries harder in more creative ways like that, you know?
Is that the explanation to how he dodges all those snakes?
Yes. I mean, not really, but I don't know. It's not something they really focus on.
Cause I thought that's why they explain why he's able to dodge all of the Prince Kid's attacks. Because the dude observing was like, oh, so it wasn't a fluke. That time that I saw him surrounded by snakes, and he was jumping over and running all around and dodging them all.
It's also sort of say heightened senses, but I don't know if that if it's that emphasized.
Cause he that's the only thing I can think of, unless he has a secret magic power or something.
It's probably that, but I remember it's not that heavily emphasized.
Well, I don't know how far they go into it down the road in the show, because you watched more of it than we did, but that's how they explain he's able to dodge
probably
all of the
right
Prince Kid's
for that part.
attacks during their sparring duel. So I figured he just had either heightened senses or some kind of ability that he couldn't tell anyone because he's deaf and mute, and he speaks only in sounds, but he can read lips, and I think he knows a little sign.
No, he definitely knows sign.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, the sword tutor, while the queen is talking to him, just does sign language for him, and that's fucking
it's
cool.
kind of crazy. I bet these people had to learn sign language just so they could do the animations properly. And hey, mad respect for going the extra mile.
Yeah, that's the good shit. That makes sense in universe, and that's just impressive that they even did that in the show.
I do want to say, Boji, alright, he's pretty based, but Kage, he's mega based. I love Kage, and I don't even know precisely why myself, but I don't know, just him slowly growing to like this child that he's originally just trying to take advantage of for money, but eventually, he grows that attachment. Something about
he's the right kind of asshole, He's basically the right kind of asshole.
Yeah.
The one that's mean at first.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's not immune to the Boji charm.
Maybe it's because Kage is just so far the only character in the show that feels the way the viewer does, so we sort of connect to that perspective.
Well, if you learn more about Kage, they basically have a similar kind of past to them. They both have the same worries, which is why they relate to each other.
I do I will say that I'm not quite as sold on Kage as you are. I definitely think Boji, at least as far as the first episode goes, is mega based, because he is a fucking man despite being he's 6 at most. How do we know how old Boji is, Micah?
Sure 6. Pretty sure it was that age. It says in the first episode, I remember.
He definitely can't be older than 6 years old, and he is bottling up all his emotions. He tries his hardest to, because he can read lips and he can tell what people are saying. It's even when they're insulting him, and when he's walking home naked after giving his clothes to Kage every day, and the townspeople are laughing at him, and the kids are laughing at him. And then we see that moment where he after he talks with the queen.
Like that scene where like
like,
he's walking down naked and everyone laughs at him. I kind of like how that's a subversion on the old story of like the prince, like the king's new clothes and all that. Like I like how it's like the opposite of that, you know, where like everyone is laughing at him as it's the most natural thing to do, because even though he is the king, like he's the next in line. I don't know. It's just kind of a neat thing I noticed.
Yeah, and then after the queen, who we learn is not his mother because his mother died, and his father will pass his kingdom onto his son because he is sick with an illness. He's also a fucking giant, by the way, which makes it doubly hilarious that Boji is as small as he is.
I really liked that.
We don't know if Boji's going to like grow into the king size as he grows up, but I just find it humorous that the king is just this giant among men, and that's why like he wasn't even born royalty. He just became the king because he saved a town from an invasion of monsters because he was a giant, and the people loved him so much for it that they made him a king. And then after his wife died, he remarried, and the new queen has like, how many is the shitty prince kid the only son
No,
that
it's
she has, or
just
does she
him.
have like
It's just
several
him, and-
sons?
Hey, don't judge the son or the queen too early. That's all I can say.
I know. I mean, I can tell that they're also gonna have like every character in the show has more going on. To
Yeah,
them than surface level.
okay, I guess that was obvious just by like going on Twitter.
Yeah, I like that the queen, like even though you could tell that she doesn't love Boji and she would much rather her son be the next king than Boji does, she still wants to respect, well, not wants to, but like she'll still like do things that she thinks have Boji's best interests in mind, like well, if you are getting mugged by highwaymen on your way home every day, then we will find the people who are mugging you and put them to death. And like she won't just like write him off entirely.
She acts properly. Like she's not comically evil.
Yeah, and then we see Boji like after that discussion. It's like, I really don't think you should be king, Boji. And like, oh yeah, by the way, your father requested to see you. And he goes to change into clothes. And like we see like Kagi follows him into his room, and we see him like crying and trying to wipe away his tears and try to act strong for his to go see his dad. And then we see Kagi interpreted as, oh, so he can understand what people are saying to him, and he's been holding in his emotions the whole time. And then you go back and watch the scene with the queen again, knowing that he can read lips, and then you see the queen be like, you don't have to, like, when she's berating him and talking about you shouldn't be king, Boji, and then she turns to the sword master and says, you don't have to translate that. And then, but like, it doesn't matter because he can read lips, so he could have heard all that shit regardless. So no matter what, he was gonna find out that his second mom doesn't really love him that much or like respect him.
Yeah, it's kind of brutal.
All he wants to do is to be the greatest king in history. But it's like he knows that he's got the hurdles in front of him because he didn't choose to be born deaf. He didn't choose to be mute.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough journey, you know. Like they basically prepare you, like, man, Boji's gonna be going through a lot of things.
And I am willing to watch him like fucking conquer the world. This looks like it's gonna be fucking like reincarnated slime, but 100 times better.
I didn't exactly get slime vibes, but you know, it could be that.
Well, I only got slime vibes in the sense of like mainly from the OP, where I see him like leading a whole like group of people.
I guess that's fair, but like, man, check out the second opening. Actually, don't check out the second opening. That has spoilers, but man, the second opening is so good, so good.
Speaking of so good, I gotta mention the god tier visual gag that the best joke of any show this season, maybe even last season too, where Boji is going to the throne room to see his father, and he's pushing on the giant ass throne room door, trying to open it, and like it cuts to it fades to white. It cuts to a visual of a sound that you think is the door opening, but it's just a tiny door built into the throne room that only fits like his size.
That was a good thing.
I fucking laughed my ass off.
I laughed out loud for that one. That was amazing.
10 out of 10.
I am incredibly excited to see where this show goes, and I am like, if I had to continue one show from like this entire batch that we're doing, I would choose this one.
For sure.
This show is.
To be fair, that's a little bit
This
cheating
is like,
because
oof.
it's a little bit cheating.
It
though,
is
because
cheating.
It's not of this season, but I
Well, there was
get
so little to talk about this season. We needed to bring on stuff from last season.
And you know what? It's a good thing that we did, because if not, then Micah, you already watched it, but the three of us might have missed
Just
out on
had
the ranking
to.
of Kings.
Like, at least this show. At
Thank
least
God.
this show.
If any show from the last season had to be preserved, like, even though I haven't finished either show yet, but I know I'm going to, and I know I'm gonna like both of them. Komi-san and My Senpai is Annoying are both great. This show, it's just operating.
Like,
in
it's
a
basically
different
one of those
galaxy.
things where, like, years from now, people are definitely going to be talking about how great it was.
We just need more people to get on the fucking
No,
Ranking of
right? Like,
Kings
what is this?
bandwagon.
Only 240,000 members? We have to bring that shit to, like, 500,000 members.
240,000?
Sinful.
That's basically zero right now.
Ugh.
I mean, if you round down,
It
really
deserves
far.
to have fucking 500,000. By the end of this
It's
year,
like
it should
the
have a
ninth
fucking
most popular,
million.
like, of fall 2021. Like, come on!
Like, all right, what was in fall 2021 that was more popular and that it didn't deserve to be? Tack Top Destiny, get the fuck out of here.
Assassin's
Fucking-
Aristocrat.
What else? The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated. Get out of here. Platinum Man, get the
No,
fuck
Blue
out of here.
Period was
Blue
fine,
Period, get
but,
the fuck out of
you know,
here.
like, Ranking of the Kings should be
I
way
mean,
at
I
the
hated
top.
Blue Period, but
Like, the only one that I can understand being more popular is Komi Can't Communicate, which is because it had a bit of a
Yeah,
pedigree
that's
going
true.
in.
And I guess,
because it's a
like,
popular manga.
Demon Slayer and
Pedigree
Mushoku
and a
Tensei,
good
since they're
premise.
already big titles.
Well,
was
yeah, that's a
Mushoku-
sequel. I don't blame sequels for being more popular.
Did Mushoku Season 2 air at the same time as Osama Ranking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't mind that being more popular than Osama Ranking. Mushoku Tensei is like one of the greatest shows of all time.
Yeah, Ranking of Kings got a motherfucking 8.83 right now. It's knocking on the door to the 9s.
Honestly, if it gets over 9, won't surprise me.
I mean, I can see it becoming the next Fruits Basket final season. Actually, no, that only applies to sequels, like Attack on Titan Fruits Basket. So maybe not, but hey, it's definitely gonna hit the 9s.
Imagine an Osama Ranking Season 2, though.
yeah,
Imagine
that'd
how
be
high of a
dope.
score that would have.
Well, I think, do we have anything else to say about Ranking of Kings besides watch it, forehead?
Watch it, Fivehead.
Hey there, fellas. Neon from the future here. This time, Micah was the one that had to bow out from the podcast early, so you can follow him on Twitter at @frickinspirals in the description below. Although he will be making one last appearance at the end of the podcast that was definitely not made in post. Don't be silly. I'm not gaslighting you. Anyways, back to the show.
Honestly, after Ranking of Kings, I think we're just gonna like be rapid firing what comes
we
after.
say
There's
but-
literally only one show worth talking about after this
Wait.
one, and after that we'll rapid fire.
Then I think NeonManta agrees with me on one of the shows that is upcoming.
Yeah, that girl's Frontline is the best show of the
Fuck
season.
you.
No.
Oh boy, I do like my gotcha game anime adaptations.
Okay.
We sure
Yeah,
have
sorry,
had
like,
enough of
show
those.
Popping constantly. It's a carryover from getting COVID.
It's fine.
That's-
The show, kind of boring. Why is the opening so fucking
Yes.
good?
Okay, as far as the song goes, it's like whatever.
Yeah, the
but
song I don't care about. Why are the visuals so fucking good?
they put all the effort into the visual. It's got like its own art style. There's like
Dude, if the show fucking looked like that, I would watch it.
What are we talking
Like
about?
I would if the show
Girls
Girls
Frontline.
Frontline.
I don't even
We're
remember
specifically
the opening.
talking about the opening. Like if it looks like the opening, I think I would forget that it's an adaptation
A mobile game.
of
Right,
yeah.
hold on. Girls Frontline OP. I need to look at this. Oh,
Dude,
I
those
remember
visuals are
that
way
now.
too good for the show that it is. And like, it's not even just like the visuals are like. It's not even just like it had its own art style. It had like fucking clever directing. It had like cool symbolism. It was like
they
an
put
actual
all-
fucking anime opening.
Like they put all the effort into that just to make a generic
Just to make a generic mobile game adaptation. What the fuck?
Okay, this like
I didn't
opening
even-
is way better looking
I
than I
wa-
remember
I-
it being.
I watched the opening and then I watched like 2 minutes after that and I was like, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah, so
Can you
basically
go back to the opening, please?
what stopped me from, finishing the first episode of Girls Frontline is, I boot up the episode, no context action sequence for like 8 minutes. I already had it on like 4 times speed within like a few
No,
minutes, and then I
they-
dropped it.
They gave context. It's just weird because they're showing scenes from like later in the episode at the beginning and they're doing all this exposition and then the opening plays and then the show starts.
Well,
I feel like they were trying to open the show with an explanation of like how the game mechanic. I can only assume that what they were describing were like the mechanics of the mobile game and trying to put it into the context of this universe in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, it has like minimal context, but it's not interesting context, so I don't care enough about the action sequence to get invested at all.
I mean, it's a gacha game. Expecting it to be good.
Yeah, it's one of those YouTube sponsor tier mobile games where it's you've heard of it only through YouTube sponsors, kind of like it's in like the same realm of like Arknights.
I still remember when YouTube ads would not shut up about Arknights.
Yeah, that I'm trying to think. What the fuck was the other one?
Although-
Azure Lane, like that tier of like mobile games.
This here third
it's definitely
This here third world war is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
When's the Raid Shadow Legends anime?
I would watch that unironically.
Yeah, I kind of would too, actually.
Every episode is just it opens up with a YouTuber, like a real YouTuber, like sponsoring the game or whatever.
So in true mobile gacha game fashion, the characters are all women, and it's one of the brand of mobile gacha game where it's insert thing, but it's make it an anime girl. In this case, it is guns.
Second Amendment.
If they were Texas. Guns if they were anime girls.
How far did y'all get into the first
where-
episode? Oh, continue.
Like
I put it on
I
double
dropped it-
speed, but I watched the whole thing.
How?
I didn't watch the whole thing, mainly because I got the gist of it. It's like, okay,
The only reason I kept watching it is only because to see how it would handle the guns, the shootout scenes, because we don't get enough decent gun choreography in anime.
they should just get the gun choreography from like Resident Evil 4 or whatever, or whatever the game that
The
clip is from.
movie.
You know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I think that was from the Resident Evil like anime movie, or like
No,
I think it's called
I'm
like
pretty-
Biohazard or some shit.
No, it's from Biohazard's like a Japanese name, but like I'm pretty sure it's from the game because like it looks like game graphics.
Oh, dude,
And
no,
it-
that's what they did.
Oh,
It's like a
Okay.
Final Fantasy 15 Kingsglaive shit,
okay.
where
But
they
yeah,
took the game
you
graphics
know the
and made a
scene-
movie out of it.
You know.
Yeah,
the
I
scene
know
comes-
exactly what you're talking about. The scene where they're fucking like dancing on the floor trying to avoid each other's gunshots. And I feel like the world of Girls Frontline, um, they're all like agents and soldiers working on a battlefield, which is decent theming to go along with the guns if they were anime girls. I just feel like they should be like forming small groups and fighting each other instead of fighting these weird maid robots that feel like they have nothing to do with the premise or the theme.
I think this is like a common trend in these types of like gotcha games.
They just
Like,
fight maid robots with with like
yeah,
minigun blouses.
From what I've heard of like Azure Lane, it's basically the same deal. Like whatever you're fighting is just like this generic enemy force.
Well, I guess that's one way to save budget on a video game.
I mean, it's a gotcha
Well,
game.
okay, gotcha game.
The budget is going in the artwork.
The budget was going in the fucking opening.
True.
I wonder.
I'm actively sad thinking about it now because now I'm just thinking about what could have been.
I wonder if like the opening was intentionally made to look so much better than the show because they hoped it would like become a viral OP.
Distract you.
Like people share the OP and then they're like, "Oh, what's the show gonna be like?"
I wonder if the mobile game's like.
I don't.
Because this only exists to promote the mobile game.
I don't wonder what the mobile.
Yeah,
game
this is definitely
like.
one of.
I don't wonder at all. Rather shoot
myself. I don't care either. I'd rather shoot myself with the AR-15 gun waifu. Yeah, that's all my notes, by the way. All my notes kind of start and end with maid robots and beautiful opening.
It's everything that's been said has been said. I think that's what the saying goes.
I'll be honest, when NeonManta was talking about like theming, I was so zoned out while watching this, I was not thinking about theming at all. I was just thinking, oh my god, I'm so bored. Please kill me now. I wish COVID killed me. Death, 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 death to me.
I should have succumbed, damn it. But don't worry, Crunchy. Now we're talking to the actual show that I know you liked, which I was surprised to see was as good as it turned out to be. Life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout.
So if we're discounting...
See, I didn't like this one.
You're dead to me.
Oh, wow. You just... Oh, man, you're gonna fucking earn the ire of Crunchy tonight.
You are! Alright, so... Osama ranking. Let's just discount that whatsoever because obviously it's gonna be like the greatest thing since sliced bread, alright? If we're talking purely about shows from this season... This is the best show of the season, and it's not even close. It is genuinely so far.
All right, well, let's not go that far.
No, I am
bud.
going that far. It is not even close.
Not even Dress Up Darling and
it's not
Akabi
even
are
close.
both better than this show.
No, they don't even approach this show.
Bisco is better than this show.
It's not. It's not. I am 100%.
It's not even close. That I dropped it after like 5 minutes.
How?
I mean, after 5 minutes? God damn.
Well, I say after 5 minutes, but I was like skipping around. But
how did you
like,
get bored?
I think you might have made a mistake on that one. If you were still doing your isekai tier list, this would be on the upper end of it.
I do think it is pretty funny how their main goal is to like beat the quest or whatever before they end up falling in love with each other. I think that's pretty funny. And
yeah,
maybe
fellas, is it gay to kiss your best friend when they've magically transformed into a woman?
No answer.
I mean, maybe I would appreciate it more if I wasn't skipping around, but like I kind of didn't care that much about.
Okay, yeah. Granted, the start of it is a little boring, but as soon as they get transported into the fantasy world, it gets good.
Well, I knew the premise going in, right? So, you know, the opening of the show I thought was like immediately pretty funny because I knew what they were building up to. You know, they were building up the guy who like gets all the girls and like the sort of basic dynamic. You know, I will say
they kind of spoil it and when they open with the characters in the show.
True. But like
when they open with them already in the isekai world and the dude already transformed into the pretty girl.
But like, admittedly. All right, okay, so the first big laugh that the show got out of me is when the guy, because, like, all the women were falling in love with him, right? You know, he saw women get jealous over him and, like, you know, get mad at each other, and it literally gets to the point where he just becomes a sexist, which made me burst out laughing when I heard it.
He's based.
Exactly. And like that isn't just a one-off joke.
Phoenix Wright.
That isn't just a one-off joke. He's a sexist throughout the entire show. And a woman wrote the original manga.
He's a fucking misogynist.
So...
He said he distrusts women as he has right to do so.
Based. This show is absolutely.
I know his name is Jinguji, but I just wrote him down as Phoenix Wright throughout all of my notes because he just looks like Phoenix Wright.
He does kind of look like
him. One thing to note about this show is that on Mal, I couldn't find any like official news or like press releases about this kind of news, but apparently this is if I'm to believe Mal and Anime News Network, this is a new offshoot of OLM officially given a title, because the way that Studio OLM works is that they have dedicated teams to head certain shows. And they name their teams based after the quote unquote captains of their divisions. Like there's this guy, I forget his first name, but his last name is Yoshioka, who heads Team Yoshioka. And this anime, as listed on MAL and ANN, is being made by OLM Team Yoshioka. This is like their first show that they're officially designating it as, like, with this special label. And apparently his team did Komi-san last season.
Well, I will say this show definitely doesn't look nearly as good as Komi-san. The directing...
No, it does not.
The directing is very moving manga, even if there is, like, a bit of visual flair here and there. So, I mean, it's definitely, like, on the upper end of the spectrum in terms of, like, visuals this season. But it's very much like the bare minimum of what I would consider to be decent-looking visuals. Maybe even decent is a stretch. It is very moving manga, which is the one big criticism I have for the show. There was like a bit more visual flair, that would be much appreciated. But what is there, like, it doesn't feel dead. And that's the biggest thing that, like, the biggest credit I can give to the visuals, which is that, most of the shows this season, I just watch it and it feels like I'm dying inside. So, like, every movement of the characters feels like just, I can see the lifeless husk in the office, writing, working on...
the people making shit like Genius Prince.
I can feel the, like... the souls dying, all the people who want to die, drawing each frame of that show. Whereas with this, it's like, okay,
whereas
they probably do want to die in actuality, but it at least doesn't
because they make pennies.
It at least
at least it looks like they're having fun making pennies.
It looks like they're having fun. They probably hate their life, but I can pretend they don't. And that's more than I can say for most shows.
Yeah, I was prepared to write this off out of hand as just another light novel isekai that is just a dime a dozen these days. But this one is leaning hard into the comedy aspect of it. And it is pretty funny, if only for... It's not as funny or, like, intelligently constructed as something like Konosuba. But it is humorous in the sense of just going full ridiculousness, in the sense that alright, let's start at the beginning. So we got our two boys, Phoenix Wright and Mr. Hentai Protagonist, because we never see his eyes as bangs are in front of his face. Phoenix Wright is a total fucking lady killer. All the ladies want his dick, but he feels so coldly to them, like you said, that he just straight up becomes a sexist misogynist and just distrusts women entirely, and is so fucking gay for his best friend that he will take like accompanies him to mixers and whatnot, and like will only see him married off to a woman that he approves of.
Which, judging from his
And
standards, is no woman.
Yeah, and the fact that, but his hentai protagonist friend can get no bitches because every time they go to a mixer, they pay no attention to him. They only pay attention to his friend, and so like he like despises him for it. And then so after he gets like fucking blacked out drunk, he wishes that he could be reborn as a cute, sexy anime babe. And then they get visited by this goddess who isekais them both into a fantasy world. And then after they both piss off the goddess, she transforms the dude into the woman he described himself that he wanted to be, and then places a curse on them both to find each other attractive.
And thus hijinks ensues. How much of this did you watch?
I watched the entire first episode on normal speed because it was actually good.
I am all caught up with all 3 episodes that are currently out, and episode 4 airs tomorrow, and I am watching it as soon as I possibly can, because this show is absolutely hilarious. Like, there is not a single... I mean, okay. When the goddess appeared, admittedly, a lot of the lines during that segment were a bit weak, you know, not really laughing as hard, but then, you know, it gets out of that segment, and it's instantly completely hilarious again. Episodes 2 and 3, I'm not going to go too in depth since, you know, you guys haven't seen it. There are so many laughs to be had throughout this episodes. Like, admittedly, I do have some doubts as to how long they can keep the joke going and keep it interesting, but so far, they're doing a really good job of it. You know, they've already introduced a new character who's clearly going to be recurring, and she's hilarious. Just everything about this show is fucking funny as hell. One of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Has the Kirito clone showed up from the OP in the show
Not
yet?
yet, but I can't wait to see who he is, because I feel like that character has a lot of trope awareness.
I feel like I can only assume that he looks fucking identical to Kirito because he has to be some kind of parody, right?
I hope so.
I swear to God, he even has the same fucking sword that he does.
All right, one thing...
He's got the same fucking black coat.
One thing I do want to say, all right, character design, impeccable. 2 main characters look amazing.
I know... Yeah, I'm not too big on Jinguji's design, if only because every time I look at him, I just see Phoenix Wright. And Phoenix Wright's design is way better. This dude just kind of looks like a businessman in a suit that just has that outfit, that has Phoenix's hair. Which is like funny in the sense of like he's so out of place in the fantasy world. Like it doesn't look like he ever ditches his suit and gets like traditional fantasy garb, and he's just like a salaryman walking around in this fantasy world.
I think the design really fits his personality well, which that's another thing I really like about the show, which is that the 2 main characters have like sort of instantly endearing, fun personalities. No, Jinguji is sort of like this stoic type, but he's constantly breaking into like these bouts of eccentricism due to like the scenario he's been put into, and that's always a joy to see. And then Hinata, no, she's just kind of like the more irresponsible sidekick, you know, really does kind of rely on Jinguji to be sort of like a foil to him and to be like an interesting character, but still like a very fun character. She's just always, well, I guess he always has a lot of very fun. Another thing, I'm going on, but the dialogue in this show, it'll just randomly bust out the funniest lines. It is great.
Well, yeah, all of the dialogue and like the entire conceit of the show after the curse gets put on them, and they say, "All right, we have to defeat the Demon King and return to our world so that way we can undo the curse." And then it becomes a show about 2 bros playing 5D chess, trying to out 5 feet apart the other.
That was so funny. One of my favorite lines in the entire show is I forget the exact scenario that like brought the line on, but Jinguji straight up tells Hinata, he's like, have you, in all your 32 years of knowing me, have you ever seen me genuinely compliment a woman on her appearance?
Yeah, I have that literal line written down in my notes. Do you really think I'd ever praise a woman's appearance? Based, Jinguji.
I'm just so happy that like his sexism is like a genuine character trait instead of just a one-off gag. It's so funny.
And then it plays into the main conflict that the two have for each other. Now that Hinata's been transformed into a sexy anime babe, and they've been cursed to find each other attractive, now they have to try to get through the situation, because not only would it be weird for them to fall in love with each other, because, well, it would only be weird in the sense that Hinata would fall in love with Jinguji, because Jinguji was already kind of fucking gay for him in the real world. But now the issue is he's fallen in love with a woman.
Disgusting.
He can't have that.
Disgusting. How dare you do that?
And he's trying, and like in his head, he's like, this damn goddess, I will prove to her that our bond is immutable, that I'm not in love with my best, I would not like fuck my best friend if they were a woman, I'd fuck him if he were a man, god damn it.
I wonder if by the end they will be, I mean, they probably will. I want to see it happen.
That's the will they, won't
hilarious. They. But honestly, it's like one
because
of those...
all the fucking weird implications.
It's one of...
Is it gay?
These are the moral quandaries.
Would it be gay to fuck him at this point?
These are the moral quandaries we must spend the show mulling over. Honestly, this is like the only... Like, normally this sort of like will they, won't they kind of annoys me. I mean, even in shows I absolutely love, like My Senpai is Annoying. I mean, the will they, won't they does kind of get on my nerves at times in that show, because it's like, it's never a question. Except here, it almost...
Yeah, you know they're going to. You're just gonna draw it out until the manga ends.
I mean, here I could...
For maximum
see
engagement.
them not getting together, although I think it'll go for the they do get together, because that's the funnier option. But it has sort of the love is war thing, where for once I genuinely don't care if it stays will they, won't they, because as a will they, won't they, it is funny. It's sort of like naturally woven into the premise, so that it doesn't feel like it's like being arbitrarily stretched out. It feels natural, you know?
Yeah, Frank, if you need any more convincing to continue watching this show, it's not quite as good as Love is War. Imagine Kage and Shirogane, but one of them got their gender changed, and they're trying to apply their ridiculous 5D chess logic to conceit ways to try to get the other to confess their feelings, but also try to like not fuck them at the same time.
I will consider it.
You better consider it.
It also helps that the show is funny just outside of that gag. Like when they get chased by that one cute looking monster, and Hinata looks back at it, it's like, it's actually kind of cute, and then its fucking face like peels back into this nightmare xenomorph abomination, and it's like, yep, never mind.
That joke was timed so perfectly. Like, it feels like it was timed to just the right moment to catch you off guard as much as possible. And because of that, it's fucking hilarious.
That got a chuckle out of me. And then the other one that just got a laugh out of me, just because how fucking straight they play it. When like, hey, you know what? Why am I running from this monster? I'm Jinguji, whatever my last name is. I am not one to run away from my problems. I will stand on and face this head on. And Hinata's like, no, don't do it. It's a fucking monster, bro. You're gonna fucking die. Jinguji, no. And then he goes to fight it, and he throws one punch and he fucking decimates it. And it's like, wait, why the fuck did you kill it so easily? It's like, because I fucking lift.
That was amazing.
It's like, I've been going to the gym for years, bro. I'm fucking ripped, bro. It's like, no, that can't be the answer. It's like, he's just convinced himself that, like, yeah, I fucking lift.
I think that literally is the answer.
Well, we find out after the fact that he has like magic skills and his stats are good. He's like level
But I
70
think
in the context of this universe.
his level is high because he lifted in the real world too.
Yeah, that is the logic he uses. Like, I think I started out at this level because I lift so much. Like, based the based bodybuilding propaganda at work. And then fucking then Hina's like, oh, I wonder what my skills are, and then pulls up his stats, and he's fucking level 1. So it like the level 70 man versus the level 1 woman. Sorry, fellas, ladies, the numbers don't lie. It's just empirical science at this point.
It isn't just Jinguji who's sexist.
Also, last thing I have to note about it, the ED is weirdly hilarious.
I love like when all the little monsters are dancing.
The monsters chant with the music and have like exaggerated giant facial expressions. Like that got a smile on my face. I will say Total Fantasy Knockout, while it is good, like I have more faith in a Rust Eater Bisco that is going to be like continuously really good, whereas I can kind of see Total Fantasy Knockout peter out. It's all dependent on how varied they got the comedy. It's sort of like how, what was the show from what was the show from the summer podcast where we said like if they repeated the same joke over and over, like it would dilute the joke pool and we could see it getting old.
Uramichi-san.
Yeah, that. Granted, I didn't continue watching that show past the first episode. I haven't dropped it. I hadn't found a chance to continue it yet.
Oh, no worries. It'll remain on your on hold for like 20 years.
Yep. I'm filing this right alongside Uramichi-san with shows I did not expect to be as funny as they were, but they are, they're surprisingly humorous and will live and die by the comedy.
But where Uramichi-san genuinely did repeat the same joke over and over again. I mean, first of all, I just liked the core joke of Fantasy Bishoujo more, but also it's just more varied. Like from what I've seen, granted I only saw 2 episodes of Uramichi-san and I saw 3 of this one, but like Uramichi-san like kind of fell apart in the second episode because it was just the same joke over and over again in a show that I was, even in the first episode, thought was a bit repetitive. This, it's like, it doesn't get old in the first episode. You go to the second episode and think like, oh, maybe it'll get repetitive. It doesn't get repetitive. Like, so far, it is still going along just fine. Maybe that'll change. I will also
say that the girl that Hinata gets turned into, I can see why Jinguchi would be, even without the effect of the curse, I could see why he'd be attracted.
I have done some Googling for Hinata Tachibana, and I must say, the artists need to get moving. There is not enough art of her.
I like the facial expressions that she makes. She kind of reminds me of Rista from Cautious Hero, with the madness of her personality and the expressions that she makes.
I think I sent one of her expressions here, the little oh face.
Yeah, you sent the one as soon as I saw it in the episode. I was like, oh yeah, that was the one that Crunchy sent. The one where like she just has like white eyes and like the puckered cat face.
Yeah. A lot of the facial expressions
like
in this show,
the no thoughts head empty face.
Granted, it is a manga adaptation, so these faces might also be in the manga, but they're still really fun to look at.
Is this a manga or a light novel?
It's a manga.
I could have sworn this was
it's
a
not
light
a light novel. It's a manga with a light novel title.
Oh wow. Well, fuck me, I guess. It kind of similar to Rust Eater Bisco. It is also slowly climbing the ranks of the seasonal chart. I remember it started like way down at the bottom. Granted, it is still probably where it will likely stay. Like, I could see it definitely surpassing bullshit like Pupil of the Wise Man, World of Leadal I wouldn't call bullshit. It's just kind of boring. But, like, it should definitely be higher.
I say...
It should probably, like, be...
I say it's show of the season.
It should be right up. I'd say it should be right up in the same realm as like Love of Kill and Akabi Sailor Uniform, where they are in the current season list. Even though I think Akabi-chan should have like fucking 200,000 users by now, and the fact that it only has 72,000 is a goddamn travesty.
I wonder how much this has.
This one has 56,000.
That's not horrible.
I am while we're on this tangent of seasonal lists, I am very shocked that Tokyo 24th Ward only has 36,000.
That's not shocking. It's not that. I mean, okay, you think it's interesting.
It's not that good, but it's interesting. Like the interest factor alone should put it above fucking Requiem of the goddamn Rose King. Like,
okay,
come on.
It should be above Requiem of the Rose King, but I'm not surprised it isn't that big.
Well, I think now that we're done with Total Fantasy Knockout and the two of us are left with a recommendation, we can just go ahead and speed run these last 5 shows.
Next up, what's it? Futsal Boys. I didn't watch this one.
Oh, you didn't watch it?
I didn't watch it. I forgot.
I watched a third into episode 1, and then I dropped it.
Literally same, bro.
I feel like I'm not missing much.
It's just Fujo. It's just Fujo guys playing soccer. It's so fucking by the numbers.
It's worse than that because the art is horrible. The anime looks like complete
it's
garbage.
also bad.
And who has even heard of Futsal? No one. Dropped.
At first I thought, okay, listen, as a Spanish speaker...
Frank, you are Hispanic, so please enlighten me. Is futsal just not soccer? What's the difference?
Okay, because, see, in Spanish, like, what you guys call soccer, we call football, right?
Yeah.
So I thought futsal was just, like, the Japanese, like, spelling of that, but apparently, from what you guys are saying, it's not.
I looked it up online.
futsal...
Stuttered. It's like its entirely own sport that's, like, super niche, and, like, nobody's heard of it. Because
it's soccer. It's literally... I'm looking at it, it's literally soccer, but, like,
futsal.
On, like, a gym floor and not, like, outside. That's what I'm seeing from these pictures.
Yeah, so my variation of football played on a hard court, smaller than a football pitch and mainly indoors. Oh, so it's okay. So
it's like just indoors.
It's like the pickleball to soccer's tennis.
Mm-hmm.
That which is weird because I'm pretty sure they played it on a grass field, right? In the show.
They played it on like a pavement sort of like field, not field. But
like in the stadium though, like at the start where we see the red hair guy see the older guy play futsal, were they not playing on like grassy turf?
I have no idea. I cannot remember.
Whatever. It's a fucking Fujo show. I put it on double speed, and it's. I made it halfway through before I dropped it.
Okay, NeonManta.
Sorry.
You say it's a Fujo show, but one thing I would like to point out is that the main character's design is genuinely so ugly. Like, I could barely stand to look at it.
That doesn't matter. Fujo whales don't care, bro. As long as they're gay, as long as they start sucking each other's dick.
Like, what's up with his face? It felt almost like too small for his head, but at the same time, the proportions weren't weird. So it's just like, he just has a really ugly, unappealing face. It's like genuinely one of the worst character designs I've seen in ages.
Speaking of ugly faces and bad character designs and Fujos.
Oh no.
Tribe 9 was a fucking surprise.
Okay, what was Tribe 9 again? Okay.
It was the baseball one.
I'm looking.
The most I remember about Tribe 9 is that the guy he hit the soda can with the baseball bat and it flew to like the water tank and it just knocked it down, and that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I couldn't tell you, bro, but I did not know this going in because I thought it was just gonna be a generic sports anime. But then, as soon as the main character showed up, immediately alarm bells were ringing in my head, and it sounded like this: Danganronpa Designs, Danganronpa Designs, wee woo, wee woo, wee woo. And yeah, sure enough, it's the designs are by Kazutaka Kodaka, the creator of Danganronpa.
You know, I felt something weird with the designs in this show, where I like the designs themselves.
You wanted to run in the opposite direction?
But like the actual art, the actual character art in the show looks bad. The designs themselves are pretty good, but the art in like that sort of gap just kind of weird. Makes them oddly unappealing.
My issue with that's my issue with Kodaka's designs. He has a fashion sense, and like while I may not like the fashion sense sometimes, at least like he has an aesthetic that he likes to put his characters in. It's sort of like Tite Kubo has is known for his fashion sense and putting his characters in all these different kinds of like fashionable outfits. It's like you'll never see a Kubo character in an ugly outfit. Like when that happens, he'll fucking commit seppuku. And whereas like when it comes to Kodaka and the Danganronpa art style, I can kind of vibe with the outfits that he puts the characters in. Like the girl's design in this one, I like her design the best. My problem is the character designs themselves with like the faces. It's the eyes, man. I can't stand the fucking eyes. There's something off about the eyes, and it's so hard for me to describe outside of just calling them Danganronpa eyes.
I don't hate the eyes in the same way you do. It's mostly just the art quality that rubs me the wrong way. Whereas like I feel like a better studio with more capability to put these designs on the screen would make them work for me, but as it is, it's kind of like I see what it's going for, but the gap between idea and reality holds it back.
Yeah, the premise of Tribe 9 was hilarious to me. In the future, the Zoomers have risen up and have overthrown society, and but they were unable to govern properly, so the land fell into chaos. So logically, all gang wars would be decided by games of baseball. They don't explain why baseball or why they have to play such this cyberpunk 2077 extreme death level of baseball that spans literal hundreds of meters for a playing field. Shut up. It's just baseball, okay?
I feel like this is one of those premises that expects you not to think about it because it's just so stupid. Frankly, is kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's definitely... I kind of appreciate the retardation of it. And I will say there are moments where it's so retarded and over the top that it kind of wins me over occasionally. Like, mainly when that fucking businessman came in with the fucking, like, mech suit that he had with that sort of similar to the fucking Jumpin' Jack Flash stand from JoJo Part 6, where he had the centrifuges in his arm to spin the nuts and bolts so fast that he shoots them out like bullets. He put a fucking baseball in this mechanical centrifuge on his shoulder to spin it around so fast that he literally shoots it out like a fucking railgun at the speed of goddamn light.
That was
and then later we see him as he's, and then later we see him like fucking inject like Bane venom from Batman into his neck and like Hulk out to fire one more super railgun baseball laser, only for not Komida to fucking swing his super electric bat with the power of God in anime so hard that he knocks off the top of a tower. I still hate the designs and would rather play a video game of this, because like if this were like an actual baseball video game, like maybe I could consider playing it if it weren't like a stupid visual novel. But I just don't care enough.
I like the sort of aesthetic of like the hideout. Well, like not the place itself, but like the sort of like
Yeah, I do
this
like the
gang of people all together in one place. I sort of
I
like that.
I hate comparing things to Persona in current year, but I do like it. It does. I did get. I want to kill myself as I say this, but I did get a Persona 5 vibe of the guys just like hanging out at like a. I think it's like a bar. They're just like hanging out at a bar, and like they do have a certain chemistry to their back and forth dialogue, even though like they do this obnoxiously stupid thing where they give each other stupid nicknames like, oh, I'm gonna name you Boring, or you're a tuna fisherman, so I'm gonna name you Tuna, and like, oh yeah, well you barfed when I met you, so I'm gonna name you Barf. And it's like when they're doing anything, when they're talking about literally anything besides that, I do like the chemistry of this group.
I feel like it
Uh,
could be almost good, but I don't know. Nothing in the first episode quite captured me.
I like that Kodaka apparently couldn't be fucked one day when designing the characters, like the rest of the 9 characters for their baseball team. So he just drew a set of quadruplets that straight up just look identical to each other. You can't tell them apart. They don't even get fucking names. They just are just 4 quadruplets that you like, okay, I guess these guys exist now. I guess Kodaka wanted to have a longer lunch break today.
Am I the only one who thought the main character was a girl at first, until they like explicitly said he was a guy?
Well, you mean Haru? Yeah. Okay, I thought you were talking about the tuna fisherman. I was like, how the fuck did you confuse him for a girl? But like, no, I can see. I honestly thought they were gonna go for like she dresses like a boy but is actually a girl. But no, he is just a kind of a twink. It looks like he has already undergone his character arc by the end of the first episode. Also,
hopefully that's
because
not
at first
all
he's
the
kind of like a
episodes.
beta male. Well, it feels like he's kind of a beta male at not kind. He is a beta male at the start, but then at the end he goes to challenge the dudes that were pushing him around before to a fight, and it looks like even though he got beat up, it looks like he comes back and like gives a smile and like a peace sign, like he ended up winning the fight. So he's just kind of a Chad now, I guess.
I mean, admittedly,
Alright, character arc over.
that scene was pretty. I enjoyed it for what it was. You know, it's not the most deep character arc out there, but it's adequate.
Like, dude, as soon as I saw the white-haired dude that looked exactly like Komaeda from Danganronpa, that triggered my fight or flight response.
The red-haired guy, Taiga. Not from Toradora, apparently. He oddly has a way worse voice actor than everyone else. Like, Taiga's voice actor sounds like he's trying to put on this, like, enthusiastic and intense voice, but it's also, like, kind of muted and, like, not really going all the way at it, so it just kind of comes off as half-assed and awkward. I don't know what's up with that.
Frank, what did you think of Tribe 9?
Like I said, the only thing I really remember is when he knocked down the water tank with soda can by hitting it with a baseball bat.
Well, the show operates on fucking retard baseball logic. Like, why the fuck can they hit the ball for like hundreds of meters? And also, like, if the bases are like separated by so many meters, wouldn't it be really easy to fucking steal bases? Like, how are you gonna throw it to the people at the bases?
Don't question
if there's like all
bro.
this shit in the way.
My question was
They've got like go-go. They have like go-go gadget stand hand to touch the base.
My question was, and maybe they're like, like operating outside the law or something like that, but like if they're causing that massive...
I mean, we've already established that the government like has fallen.
Oh, true.
And that gang wars are decided by games of baseball.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else?
The game doesn't even operate on like regular baseball rules, which I know is fucking extreme baseball, but like I at least thought like if everything else would be consistent with normal baseball rules, then like how come catching an airborne ball is not an immediate out?
I have no idea what the rules for baseball are, so I can't really comment on that.
Yeah, normally when a ball touches the ground, then it's you can't instantly get the batter who hit it out. But if you catch it before it touches the ground, like if you caught it from the air, that's an instant out. But I guess that doesn't apply in the game of extreme baseball.
I think the exception is if they stay on a base and then you catch it, like, they're safe. It's only when they're moving.
Yeah. I think that might be the case in regular baseball. I might be wrong about that. I don't know. I shouldn't be applying real world logic to the show in the universe where gang wars are decided with baseball.
Apparently, this show has a 6.22 on Mal. That's honestly higher than I expected.
Listen, this show, I have a distinct feeling in my gut that this show is going to be particularly popular with insufferable people.
Why is that?
Danganronpa.
Yeah, like, it's going to appeal
your
mostly
vendetta.
to Danganronpa fans. But it's just, I don't know, Danganronpa fans are kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. And, I think these next three, or are we still talking about?
We don't really have anything else to say.
No.
No.
Yeah, we can blaze through these next three. Salaryman's Club. I don't get it. Are they salarymen? Are they badminton players? Are they both?
I think they're both. And I do dig this sort of like contrast.
This was another show where I just hit the skip 5 seconds button.
My first note was, it's how foolish of anime to make a badminton anime in a world where Hanabado exists, which is one of my favorite sports anime of all time. And then I looked at the studio and it's like, what the fuck? Leiden Films? And I guess when it comes to making sports anime, this is their bread and butter, making shows about badminton, because they also made Hanabado. It's still a downgrade.
What's interesting, and I don't mean this about the show itself, but for some reason it started airing late.
I think that's just kind of a normal thing. Like, usually, it's not too out of the ordinary for a show to air like at the end of a month. Like, usually, while most seasonals, we're just kind of used to it starting like the first week or two of the month of the start of the season. But it's like the rare exceptions are like shit like Shenmue. Like, usually we at least get them in the first month.
Well, you guys seemed to not like Salarymen's Club very much. I thought it was okay, and that I want to continue to the next episode.
I didn't feel compelled to continue to the next episode. I did think it was okay. We have once again entered the world of Fujo land, but it does seem like the Fujo is like kind of more baiting, which is good because I think the dude that he's paired up with is like 15 years older than he is.
I mean, the character designs aren't great, but they're serviceable, I guess. Actually, now that I'm looking at them, they're just kind of they exist.
Yep, they're just kind of
They're okay.
I still don't fucking get, like, so they work for not Coca-Cola, right? They work for like a drink brand,
beverage thing, whatever that is. I think it's like a soda.
Yeah, so why do they have a badminton team?
I don't know. Oh, they also make beer.
That doesn't answer the question of why they have a badminton team.
Is that like a thing that does like Coca-Cola have their own like team of tennis players or some shit? Is that like a thing they do?
Why would they need a team when they can just sponsor one instead?
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's a real thing, but it's at least plausible enough that I can buy into it. Companies do weird shit all the time.
I thought this show was going to be like a work sport balance kind of show. It's like, we're going to see how they balance their salaryman life with their badminton playing life. And I will say, the animation when they're playing badminton, I don't know, I put the emphasis on the hard T there. It's not bad. It's actually pretty decent as far as sports anime
You
go.
know?
It still does not touch the beautiful animation of Hanebado. Once again, another badminton show made by Leiden Films, which is just way better.
The visuals of this are actually pretty solid all around, and during that badminton scene, I will admit, it got my blood pumping a little bit, got me a bit hyped, you know, the sort of like rapid back and forth with like the big whooshing noises of, you know, them hitting the ball, the animation
I am
on the
curious
sweat.
if it's the same director. Let's see, Ami Yamimuchi. Okay, no, the director had nothing to do with Hanebado, but I'm trying to like look through. Okay, sound director.
Mhm.
Surely this guy did Hanebado's sound directing, right? Wow, he didn't. Surely the shows have way too similar crossover to fucking not have any kind of like similarity. I'm actively going through the fucking, I don't know, editing, director of photography, art director, fucking color design, background art, character design, original character design, literally fucking anything.
Oh, well.
Okay, original character design, nothing.
Well, while you're looking for that,
Nothing.
I'm just gonna say that the main character, Mikoto Shiratori, for the first episode, he seems like he could be a genuinely good protagonist. So far, he has not quite hooked me. I don't love him yet, but I see the potential there. All the building blocks are there. It just matters where it goes from here, because this first episode is entertaining on its own merits. At least I thought it was. I'd give it like a solid 6 out of 10. No. And it has potential to, you know, go up to like a 7 or an 8.
Alright, I looked into it. There's no overlap somehow. So I guess this is just a thing that they do. I guess maybe this is how they initiate members of their staff. Like, you're not a true Leiden Films vet until you make a badminton anime.
I mean, of all the sports out there,
by the way,
badminton is the one I'd want to watch an anime about.
Oh, why is that?
I mean, badminton's the most fun sport that I've played. Not that I'm any good at it, nor have I, you know, done it as like a hobby. But I also just like this sort of like I was talking about the sound design, right? Like the big whooshing of the rackets. I feel like that, I don't know, something about it is very appealing to me. You know, it's the kind of sport I'd want to watch if I were to watch a sport.
I mean, it's probably the years of Wii tennis ingrained into our subconscious, but there is a satisfying sound to games of that kind of variety, like tennis, ping pong, badminton. Of just like hearing like the squeaking of sneakers, the sound of the ball or shuttlecock against the racket, and it bouncing off the court. There is something intensely satisfying about it that you can't really get from sports like football. Like you don't get that shit from watching football.
Yeah, I like the sort of like rapid back and forth of those games, and I think in the game near the end of the episode, I think they do a really good job with the rapid back and forth.
I like that the fucking main dude, his power. I couldn't tell if they were trying to go for like the Kuroko's basket shit where they give the players like weird anime powers, but like they don't actually have powers. It's just a way of showing that how they use skills that an athlete would use in that sport. Where like how this dude just has foresight, where he just like analyzes his opponent and he literally just downloads them. He loses on purpose for like the first third of a game, and then he's like, all right, download complete. It's like when you lose a game one in a fighting game just to learn your opponent's like patterns and habits and then exploit them in the next game. That's what he does.
Admittedly, that part is like a bit typical. I've seen that before, but not horrible. Still can be a good show.
I can see people liking this. Like I would 100 times recommend Hanebado before this because Hanebado, like on top of having really good animation and being a well animated sports anime, has one of my favorite aspects of the protagonist slowly becoming the antagonist of the show, or like of a piece of work in like any fictional work ever. Which is kind of a spoiler.
I have not seen
but it's really
Hanebado,
fucking good.
So I should probably
It's
get that.
really fucking good. If you liked the sound design and the animation of this show, the Hanebado is gonna blow your fucking
Alright,
mind.
I'm gonna look this up on AniList real quick. Hanebado.
It's also got girls, so it's infinitely better.
Oh, you just needed to tell me that. You just needed to tell me it had girls in it. Okay. Alright, set to planning.
I don't think there were. I don't think it's Yuri baiting in that one. Shit. Was there a lesbian in that show? I can't remember. I think there might have been one lesbian, but that's it. Yeah, that's all I can think to say about it. Like anytime I want to compliment Salaryman's Club, I just be like, but Hanebado exists. Like if Hanebado didn't exist, this show would be more worth looking into.
Is that about all you want to say about Salaryman's Club?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it's still worth more looking into than fucking Q.
Oh God.
Boy, another mobile game.
All right, you ready for my review?
This is one of those. Yeah.
On this one, I'm just gonna rapid fire this. All right. Saw that it was about voice acting. Saw mildly cute girls. Then you get into it, and it feels like nothing endearing or fun is happening. It's just the most standard dialogue characters imaginable, and so I dropped it halfway through episode 1 because it is boring. That's my review. There's nothing more to say about it. At least from my end.
Bruh, the fake anime at the start of the show was like more exciting than 80% of the shows this season. I want to watch that show.
I will say the opening scene with like them, not them, her voicing over the anime felt like it went on a bit too long. Really started to get kind of boring. Like, okay, get the point. She's voicing over the anime. Maybe there's like some sort of like subtleties to her. There probably is like some subtleties to her voice acting to like make it sound like amateur or something like that. But I didn't really pick up on much. And so I was kind of just like, okay, I get the point. Move on.
Yeah, that whole time I was watching the dudes, not the dudes, the fake anime at the start that they were voicing over, when they went into that world of like green, lush fields and trees and like those big cliffs. I just thought to myself, isn't this where Rex meets Pyra for the first time in Xenoblade 2? Did you get that kind of vibe, Frank?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch Q?
No.
The point of the thing was to watch all the shows.
I watched most of them.
To be fair,
no, but
I missed out.
Just like Futsal Boys. Just like Futsal Boys, I also just forgot to watch this one.
Right.
I did watch the next one on the list though.
Yeah, Q is based on a smartphone game. It's one of those.
Oh, I knew that one. I knew that part.
Yeah, it's one of those faux idol games where it's not about idols in like the music sense, but it's idols in the sense of like it's all girls and you are going to get attached to them to the point where you want to like spend a shit ton of money just to get them. Like just so you can like they can become your idol in the sense of devote your money and time to them. And you could tell that's an idol fucking game where they fucking bring that one scene in the episode. I don't know if you saw it, Crunchy, where they fucking bring like it's like, all right, bring in the fucking whale bait down the runway, and they have all the girls coming through the door like one after the other. They don't even fucking do they even introduce themselves by name?
I
can't even remember if they do.
this scene, so I probably didn't see it.
Yeah, so it's about this main girl joins a new voice acting company called Air Blue, which is brand new, and they specifically pride themselves on hiring VAs with no achievements or experience.
I did
also
not
notice
even like how
He didn't
don't
get that
voice
far.
actors learn from like people who are more experienced than them? Wouldn't they only stand to
Well-
benefit by having older, more experienced voice actors there? Why specialize in
They-
only
they-
newbies?
Well, they do. They're hires, and like the people they will contract to voice an anime and shit are newbies, but like they have voice lesson coaches and like veterans from their fake industry that they made up at their company to like teach them and train them to be good voice actors.
So it's like
They
train-
didn't just like pick a random Joe off the street and be like, "Hey, you want to voice in an anime?" and then just like toss them into the VA booth head first.
Alright.
But I
Well,
did
that-
notice a distinct lack of male voice actors, which, unless this is some brand new misandrist company, I don't think that works in voice acting companies. I think you need like both men and women because
Yeah.
it's gonna be hard to diversify your outsourcing agency when you only got characters who can play only women or like
Don't question it. It's a mobile game.
little boys
It's
who
a-
like sound feminine.
It's a gotcha game. Don't or whatever. Don't question it.
Yeah, I know that's the answer to it, but like it's one of those things that's just hilarious to think about.
And we're
Um,
not done discussing games because the next one on the list.
Yeah, I was gonna. I had more things to say about Q, but only in the context of if you guys also saw them. But since you haven't, it's not worth bringing up. It's not a good show.
0 out of
and
10.
Don't watch it.
And we're ending this up with everyone's favorite show, Ninjala.
I did not
I
know
have-
what Ninjala was before I watched this.
It's a like multiplayer game. Like it kind of has like the Splatoon aesthetic, at least from what I've seen of it, like game screenshots.
Yeah, most people compare it to Splatoon, and it is kind of Splatoon-ish. You can definitely feel the
Mhm.
Splatoon inspiration, and I almost kind of wanted to play it based on that, but something about it just didn't like click right with me. Oh, go ahead.
Isaac, I'm gonna need you to, when you edit, I'm gonna need you to put this on the screen
I will.
or whatever because I could not contain myself.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was the highlight of my Ninjala viewing experience. As far as kids shows goes, this
It-
was
Honestly, I
Okay.
feel like, yeah, like I will say, the character designs, you can kind of just put them in the Pokemon anime and like it wouldn't look out of place whatsoever.
yeah. If I have to tab out of the Discord because I keep seeing the fucking Among Us Ninja. If I were a kid and I played Ninjala as a kid and I watched the Ninjala anime, I would like the Ninjala anime.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I
don't
did
really have
like
much
the
to say
alarm.
about it.
I did like
I
the
mean-
alarm clock gag that they had at the beginning with the dude.
It's you know
where,
what it
like,
is.
he-
Isaac, you know what this kind of show is? This is the kind of show that would end up on 4Kids.
Yeah. I mean, it's about like these grown ass men and women trying to make ninja gum to reawaken their ninja ancestral roots,
And then
then
they become
get
kids.
transformed into kids.
It's a very okay show. The main character
I will
is
say
kind
the main
honestly, this
dude.
is-
the main character. He is kind of endearing. But I don't
Honestly,
think
it's just
I'll
kind of hard to,
continue it.
Honestly, it's just kind of hard for me to like give this a specific rating because it's just kids.
Yeah, I will say that I couldn't get it out of my head that the main dude just looks like a grown-up Goro from Darling in the Franxx.
Oh no.
Cause he's got the purple glasses, he's got the blondish hair.
I feel like this is the second time you've said, like this season, you've said a character looks like the guy from Darling in the Franxx.
Well, it also doesn't help that the cat that he has in the show is literally named Goro.
Okay, that explains it.
Anyways.
Yeah, speaking
we-
of the Pokemon anime that you mentioned, the pink-haired woman, I think her name was like Baraka or
She's literally
something.
Jessie.
Yeah, she looks exactly like Jessie. Yeah, it's an alright kid show.
Mhm. And
That's kind of like, if you're a fan of
there's not
Ninjala,
much-
maybe you'll like it.
There's not much to say about it.
It exists.
Yeah.
We are
And with that-
pushing this time.
It's okay, because now we are finally done. We have covered
Yeah.
all 30 shows that we set out to do.
Mhm.
Overall, the season, kinda weak sauce.
Pretty much.
That
yeah.
is an understatement. It was really bad. Admittedly, second block did kind of
So-
come in clutch. It had a few goodies in there, but I mean, the first block was just horrible. The only even kind of good
The fir-
thing
the
there was
first
My
block-
Dress
the
Up
fir-
Darling.
Well, the first
Yeah.
block has the two best shows of the season, at least in my opinion. And then the second block has shows, well, not quite as good as those two, they were more good shows than bad.
Mhm.
Well, at least, comparatively, comparing block 2 to block 1, overall, we had a lot of bad shows.
Yeah.
When we say our favorite and
So
least
what-
favorite shows, do we want to count stuff like Osama ranking?
That's kinda
we
cheating.
can't,
That's-
yeah, that's
that's
cheating. We
cheating.
can't count those.
But,
So we'll go down the list. Frank, what was your top 3 and bottom 3 shows of the season?
Okay, so in first place is unsurprisingly Dress Up Darling. Second place, well, see, here's the thing. There's kind of just like this giant gap, even from like the top 3. It's Dress Up Darling, and then I think I would put Rusty or Bisco in second place, maybe, and then Akebi in third, or I don't know. But like, it's just the margins, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm not even gonna try to like organize the bottom 3 because I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same.
It's the 3 shows I mentioned. It's the 3 shows I mentioned, and then everything else.
I'm the same
Damn.
as Armagon with the 3 least favorite, because I feel like all the least favorite ones would be just the ones I didn't even get close to finishing. You know, a lot of the like very bottom half of the season just kind of blends together, and I feel like any attempt to sort through what is my absolute least favorite, like my top 3, would just sort of be a crapshoot. In terms of the top 3 of the season, I'd say obviously first place it has like this long ass name, but the Japanese title is Fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Oji Santo.
You don't have to say the whole thing, bro.
You could just say Total Fantasy Knockout.
Oh, that's actually a good shortening of it. Okay, I'll use that from now on. Second place, probably Dress Up Darling, and then third place, it's a bit tough, but I'm gonna... Actually, wait, no, I just remembered Rust Eater Bisco exists. Okay, Rust Eater Bisco is definitely third place.
And how about you, Micah, who was here the whole time? What are your top 3 and bottom 3 of the season?
So for my top 3 and bottom 3, I guess for my bottom 3, it would be, I want to say Tokyo 24th Ward, because that was pretty shit. Worlds End Harem for just being a shitty ecchi. And the Strongest Sage of Disqualified Crest, because it was so shit that it made me laugh. For my top 3, that would have to be, let's see, from top 3, third best would be, okay, My Dress Up Darling. Third best is My Dress Up Darling. Second best would be Rust Eater Bisco. And the first best would be, of course, Ranking of the Kings. But if we can't do that, just shift them up and put the third one as, I don't know, the Atashi Kawajiri Kudo Dama Daio, the Life Hacker one. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's gotta be it.
Yeah, my top 3, unsurprisingly, Dress Up Darling at the top, Akabe Sailor Uniform in second. I think y'all ain't giving it the credit it deserves. I think it's just like the most feel-good show of the season. Like, you can't watch it and be in a bad mood. And then Rust Eater Bisco in third. If you want something more narratively driven, if you want like a more story-driven show, I feel like that one's gonna scratch that itch. as far as bottom 3, I do have this organized. Third worst is Pupil of the Wise Man, if only because it had that god awful second half, and like not only the ugly CG, but it's like laughably, like imagine watching that on TV.
Mm-hmm.
The all music, no dialogue. What the fuck? Second place is Rusted Armors, if only because it's X-Arm, but unironically. And it's just not. It doesn't have the so bad it's good quality. It's just kind of bad. And lastly is Fantasia Sango, which is just a bad video game adaptation.
Is
just
that
like
the one
of
with
all
the
the shows
CG
like
scroll?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of all like the bad forgettable shows on this list, like Fantasia Sango was like the only one that I looked at and was like, I watched 8 minutes of this and I struggled to remember the 8 minutes of it compared to like everything else on this list.
I mean, I clearly struggled to remember it too, considering I literally had to ask you what it was.
Yeah, I kind of even regret just putting it on the list. I only did it for completionist's sake, but it, like no one even like is talking about it. No one even acknowledges it. I think we're probably the only people on the internet who will acknowledge its existence. What even fucking place is it in on the seasonal chart? Fantasia Sango. It is currently. I can't even fucking find it.
Oh no.
Oh, here it is. All right, yeah, it's below fucking Q.
Mm-hmm.
It is only above like Iridori Midori, Rusted Armors, and Kodama Kawashiri.
I forgot.
And it has a 4 point.
Shows are.
It also has a 4.91. So what the fuck does that tell you? And with that, we are finally done with the winter 2022 season, at least with the seasonal impressions. So, Frank, if you want to bow out now, you can. You can go ahead and plug whatever you'd like before you head out.
Mm-hmm. It was fun doing this. See you next time. In a hopefully better season. It will.
Oh,
be.
it's gonna be an amazing
next
next season. I cannot wait for next season.
Anyways, see ya.
All right. I guess I'll plug my YouTube
Crunchy.
channel.
As he is.
Oh, he's straight.
Oh,
up
actually,
left the
I have one last question before. Yeah, well, I did give him permission to leave. So now we are left with one last question for the podcast. Of these shows of the season, which ones are you most interested in keeping up with and doing episodic review episodes?
Oh.
Or like episodic as like chunks of episode, like content style, to keep up with.
Which one would be the most interesting? My Dress Up Darling. That's probably the most interesting one to keep up with because it does sort of fluctuate in quality each episode. Whereas something like...
Yeah, I feel like the two we should keep track of the most are My Dress Up Darling and Rust Eater Bisco.
Yeah, those two seem
It's like Rust Eater Bisco in terms of narrative, and Dress Up Darling in terms of like not just because it's the most popular non-sequel show, but also because there is a narrative going on.
Yeah. I mean, a part of me obviously wants to do Total Fantasy Knockout, but I also feel like we wouldn't really be able to do blocks of episodes.
I don't think we could like
keep that interesting.
Yeah, no, I feel like straight comedies are not like designed for that kind of format.
Sadly, I can't rant about it.
I feel that don't worry, with the YouTube channel that you are about to plug, youtube.com/crunchybagels, you can make a video about it and tell the world about how good it is.
Sometimes I forget that my URL literally is youtube.com/crunchybagels. I'm used to it being
Is it actually, or did I just get a lucky guess?
No, it literally is youtube.com/crunchybagels. There's a way to like change the channel URL. And I always forget I did.
Alright, epic.
Is that about it?
Yep, it looks like that's about it. So, I've been NeonManta.
I've been Crunchy Bagels.
And that has been this episode, Castaway Anime. You'll see us next time.
See ya.
I was gonna say we'll be talking about the pussy.